Welcome, everybody, to the third match of Contenders South America Week 3. It's LFTOWL versus Up Gaming, where LFTOWL are 2-0, 7-2 in map count, while as Up Gaming are 2-0, and they haven't dropped a map this season. They're looking like both of these teams look like playoff contenders to me. Let's start with you, Frito. What do we have to know about these teams?
Well, I think when we look to LFTOWL, they're a team that has a lot of the components on the periphery, where especially they might have a very top-tier Zenyatta that I'm surprised hasn't get swooped up out of the scene just yet. But looked a little bit hesitant in their win last week, despite winning it 3-0 against LFO. Their main tank, Fasty, switched over from playing off-tank for the majority of last season and hasn't been as decisive. So on maps where it plays a bit slower, that you're going to see Ole fragging from the backline, but on maps where, especially 2CP, where Fasty needed to play more aggro on the Reinhardt, closing distances, making a lot of tough decisions, looked to struggle a little bit. But his Hammond is insane, and there's a lot of awesome players on both of these teams, so I'm hyped for this matchup.
Paul, what do we have to know?
Well, so Up Gaming is a very fascinating team. Last season, they lost two games in a row. Third game, they bring in this 16-year-old player, Edgigas, and since then, the only match they have lost is to Base Tryhards, formerly known as Brazil Gaming House, the undefeated team in this region, right? So this is a terrifying roster to go up against. They've yet to drop a map this season. Their entire coordination, no matter what comp they run, it's usually the GOATs, but we've seen them be terrifying with the Doomfist Sombra, Doombra, if you will, right? Edgigas popping off on that Doomfist is horrifying if you're playing against it. My one concern for this roster is they have yet to have a real challenge. They've played Black Dragons and Fury, who we both just saw, who are both at the bottom of the standings right now. So I'd like to think that how clean Up Gaming looks isn't just a product of who they've played against, but this will be their first real test this season.
It's going to be a real test, yeah. Going against the bottom teams, I mean, that's a quick 8-0, but in map count anyway. So the real challenge is LFTL, who are on the upwards momentum too. They won that game 5 against LFO last week. So let's throw in some quick predictions, boys. Paul, who do you think is going to win between Up Gaming and LFTL?
I'm going to say Up Gaming. I'm going to say 3-1, but I think if LFTOWL can really pop off in the front line and shut down if LFTOWL can pop off in the front line and shut down Up Gaming's T-Shazine, I think they have a good chance of taking this.
And for me, it's hard for me to disagree with that, honestly. I think Up Gaming is looking up. I might even make a bold prediction at this point and say that they go to the finals in this playoffs. I think they're that good, but they haven't been tested. So my predictions have known to blow up in my face before. And if that is to be the case, LFTOWL, I'm going to be looking to Ole to really be pressuring the front line. T-Shazine might be the better main tank, but we've seen in previous matches, even today, that kind of doesn't matter if the Zenyatta's fragging from a distance, and Ole can be a difference maker there. I also am a big fan of Leviathan, who's very good on the Brigida, opportunistic player. As I said, I think the supporting cast of LFTOWL is actually insane, but it's just the main tank being able to make a lot of quick decisions that could have improved in a week. And if it has, LFTOWL definitely could take this.
Well, LFTOWL, man, they got options. Remember, Leviathan plays such a sick Pharah, and you got Muris, who I think even played Reaper last season. He can flex to anything, Hanzo, Doomfist, you name it. I think LFTOWL definitely have options besides the GOATs, while as Up Gaming, well, what do you guys think you might expect from Up Gaming?
Well, like I said, they've shown sick GOATs, and after they've 3-0'd, they've brought out a Doombra, and it just stomped on it, right? Like, first week, they play Fury, relatively close on the GOATs. It was kind of a different Fury, but then they go to Route 66, they bring out the Doombra, and it's a completely different match. It's like we brought in an actual Overwatch League team to play against Fury just for the 4th match, right? So I think if they get pushed to a brink in these first few matches, look out for that Doombra coming out, and if you're LFTOWL, be aware.
Well, you guys remember last week, Pardle was popping off as the Lucio. That was everyone's player to watch last week. He was getting game-winning boops of pushing everyone into well. Frito, who would be your player to watch?
You stole it from me. I love Corona Lucio.
I read your mind a little bit.
I think especially with Base Tryhards losing their Lucio player, Partle might be the #1 in the region in a very competitive scene. And we've seen some insane Lucio play even today. But it's really playing around T-Sujin's tank play that I think it really impresses me from Up Gaming. Yes, their competition hasn't been as fierce, but it looks like the kind of play that does translate to a harsher opponent. I would also be looking to Tiago on the support role to try to emulate the value that I'm just expecting Olay to get on the opposite side, and it's a difficult task nonetheless. Also, this might finally be the series that we see Up Gaming switch off the GOATS comp for the first 3 maps, because it will be difficult to win, I think, strictly playing in that mirror. So they'll probably want to throw a few curveballs, because this is by no means an easy win on the schedule. They're probably going to need to pull out some of that Edgigus Doomfist in order to win. I think it will be close, and they won't be just styling on it in the 4th map as sort of a victory celebration.
It's hard to say where this match is going to go. Both these teams have veteran players. LFTOWL is composed of Pain Gaming and Black Dragons players from Season 2. And Up Gaming mostly composed of Revolts, where we have maybe new faces such as Partle, which I think was in Pain Gaming all the back in Season 1. But then they played in like Argentina Game Show, and that's where we kind of got a taste of these players. So I'm super excited to get into this game. And we're just waiting for the players to get into the lobby. But how about this? Since you're new, you guys at home may be new to Contenders South America, we're going to show you a quick video if you want to get to know Olay, the support player from LFTOWL.
Com o aumento de atividades ligadas a Overwatch acontecendo por todo o mundo, uma onda de preocupação e curiosidade tem atingido cidadãos de todos os lugares. Quem são os novos agentes encarregados da nossa proteção e quais os possíveis perigos que podemos enfrentar? Veremos vários deles em ação na Overwatch Contenders e hoje vamos falar sobre o Oli. Nome verdadeiro, Pedro Orlandini. Idade, 23 anos. Base de operações, Rio de Janeiro. Profissão, estudante de administração. Afiliação, Looking for Team Overwatch League. Role, Flex Support. Personagem que mais gosta de jogar, Zenyatta. Uma mente disciplinada é a sua aliada mais confiável. Oli deu seus primeiros passos rumo à sua carreira de agente ainda pequeno, em lan houses, antes de ter o seu primeiro computador, que foi dado de presente por seus pais algum tempo depois. Jogando em casa, Oli cada vez mais pegava gosto pelo universo competitivo. Depois de algum tempo nos jogos competitivos, ele conheceu Lico, que o apresentou para um novo cenário e para as pessoas que viriam a fazer parte do time que ele passou a integrar em 2012. Essa foi uma fase de muitas vitórias, mas ainda assim faltava algo em sua trajetória. O chamado da Overwatch em busca de novos heróis o alcançou ainda no beta fechado e, junto com seus companheiros de equipe na época, foi em busca desse novo desafio. Quanta diversão e oportunidades poderiam aparecer dali? Essa poderia ser a chance de se tornar um agente profissional, e Oli não iria deixar ela passar. Sua intuição estava certa. Pela primeira vez, ele se viu fazendo parte de missões e operações vitoriosas e com recompensas por seu desempenho. A partir daí, seu objetivo se manteve o mesmo: melhorar cada vez mais seu desempenho para que seu trabalho seja notado por equipes internacionais que possam dar cada vez mais destaque à sua atuação. Essa decisão, inclusive, o proporcionou uma memória incrível. A primeira vez que participou de uma missão presencial na final da Brasil Game Cup de 2017, onde encontrou pessoalmente seus companheiros de equipe e amigos de longa data que faziam parte da equipe adversária. A vitória nesse encontro não foi para sua equipe, mas esse momento, a adrenalina das partidas presenciais, encontrar os amigos e se divertir com isso, foi mais um dos sinais de que este era o caminho que Oli gostaria de seguir em sua carreira. Já em 2018, Oli foi convocado para a seleção brasileira na Copa do Mundo de Overwatch para representar o nosso país nas qualificatórias de Los Angeles. Oli, junto com o Vetter, eram os únicos jogadores que não faziam parte da Brasil Gaming House entre os convocados, e a princípio houve um receio em relação à adaptação e à sinergia do time. Mas logo no início dos treinos, ficou claro que isso não seria um problema. todos os convocados estavam focados no mesmo resultado: mostrar a qualidade dos jogadores da América do Sul e conquistar pelo menos o terceiro lugar do grupo. Com um trabalho em equipe brilhante, foi exatamente isso que a seleção brasileira fez. Foi destaque no grupo vencendo a Noruega, Áustria e Suíça, além de tirar um mapa dos Estados Unidos e dar trabalho para o Canadá. Oli teve um papel de destaque em todas as partidas e o seu desempenho como Ana e Zenyatta chamaram a atenção de todos. Ele foi chamado de Joe Next sul-americano por um site especializado em análise competitiva devido ao seu estilo agressivo de jogo. E sim, os seus abates como Zenyatta fizeram a diferença em várias partidas, especialmente no 3-2 contra a Noruega. Ao mesmo tempo em que se dedica ao treinamento como agente da Overwatch, que hoje consome entre 6 e 7 horas diárias, Oli também se dedica aos estudos. Ele faz faculdade de administração e o seu desempenho por lá é tão importante quanto na competição. Inclusive, é algo que pode render frutos no futuro. Combinando seu conhecimento competitivo com o acadêmico, é possível que ele encontre novas carreiras além da de agente dentro da organização e suas ramificações nos esportes. Pessoalmente, Oli entende que seu estado de espírito influencia muito no seu desempenho no jogo, e isso é algo bom e ruim ao mesmo tempo. Assim como pode melhorar o seu desempenho e contagiar os colegas de time, também pode prejudicar a forma como joga se não estiver com as emoções no lugar. Durante seu período de atuação na Overwatch, Oli passou por uma importante adaptação. Inicialmente, seu papel era de DPS, mas há 6 meses, por necessidade de seu time, assumiu o papel de suporte. Essa mudança o fez repensar a forma de olhar a estratégia de combate, já que são papéis que exigem níveis diferentes de consciência de luta e posicionamento dentro da equipe. Essa mudança de papel o colocou na posição de ajudar os colegas de time, tanto em questões relacionadas ao desempenho e posicionamento de DPS, quanto com a visão geral do suporte. Além disso, a afinidade com o Zenyatta veio naturalmente, por ser um suporte com um pezinho no DPS. Entre as suas jogadas de destaque, ele se orgulha de clutches salvadores de time e de mapa, transcendências bem colocadas e abates precisos na hora certa. Conseguimos contato com o agente Oli, que nos deixou a seguinte mensagem.
Fala aí galera, beleza? Aqui é o Oli e eu queria convidar vocês para torcer para mim na próxima temporada Contenders. A primeira e a segunda temporada foram muito e eu tenho certeza que a próxima vai ser também. Valeu galera, torce por mim lá.
Hello and welcome. And again, I am looking forward to this. Katrina co-casting with me right now as we are about to begin. I am Rich Red Live as we already just saw a nice dive into the history of Olay here on this upcoming match, which we're going to see. And we're going to see how the play is going to come up here coming soon. And Katrina, how excited are you about this matchup?
Oh, you know me. I'm always excited to cast up gaming, especially when Edgicus might be playing that famous Doomfist of his. But LFTOWL has a lot to show, especially as we have just seen that feature on Olay. I think that the Zen matchup will be one for the record books today. I think both of these teams have the opportunity to make history and maybe even take the title of South American Contenders champion. That might be a bit of a reach right now, but we will see, as right now we are starting to get into Lijiang Tower.
And again, on this city center, it looks like it will be that triple tank, triple support composition. Will be a mirror here. Again, as the desks discussed a little bit, how it's going to be playing out with that mirror composition as they maneuver to the center here. And it will be both not opting to go into that high ground position here.
No, right now we do have the mirror matchup, and it's going to be quite a bit of a brawl with Fasti and Tishazine just staring into each other's eyes right now. But the stun comes in from the Brigitte, and here comes the charge.
Pin now coming in the back, managing to almost get one. Unfortunately, not going to get the follow-up here as they do have the control point beginning to activate in 2 seconds, starting to force them back. You do see LFT needing to be cautious in how they want to re-engage this, but still going to contest it. Back and forth, one after another. You do see Fasti getting very low, almost going to get picked off along with Hagen as they're trying to just hold them back using this pillar in the center. There's a pin, but gonna knock him away. Not gonna get it into the wall. So again, a decent amount of opportunity here to still stay in this fight. No real death so far. Both playing very conscious of their positioning along with their healing, with their supports, doing a fantastic job. As now it's gonna be the first ultimate popping off, as it will be Transcendence for both sides. That's that Zenyatta v Zenyatta play that we were talking about, as now it's gonna be a massive amount of energy coming out with an Earth Shatter and Sound Barrier as well. Ultimates from both sides just completely firing off right now to try and see if they can gain one pick. Will be Fasty finally going down. Now starting to go in favor of Up Gaming as they manage to take it and force LFTOWL back.
The major difference there being Tishazine's Earth Shatter, beautifully placed there right after the sound barrier had come in from Pizza Lover, allowing the momentum to shift into Up Gaming's favor. And as we do look at the ultimates, however, LFTOWL did not expend as much as Up Gaming and therefore have a lot more tank resources, including the Earth Shatter and the Graviton Surge.
And now they're opting for that middle high ground position here, trying to see if they can contest against it, as it will be the Graviton available. Can they manage to grab it in the back? Does. Not going to get eaten, pulling them together with the damage, looking to follow up in the back line as they do have the pin, completely shutting down Up Gaming right now, forcing them away. Fasty getting the double and allowing them to have the numbers advantage, but still not out of the fight just yet. Looking to retreat. Up Gaming going to try and reserve as much as possible, as they will get the final pick here onto Partle, as they finally turn it back at 42%.
Yes, the charge coming in from Fasty, allowing 2 kills to come on, 1 to TH7, who is so vital to Up Gaming's composition. These Zarya bubbles have been so important, not only to negate the Discord orbs coming in from Olay, but also to protect Tishazine as he gets so aggressive right now. So watch for the bubble placement during this next fight.
Trying to get that opportunity to drop the Earth Shatter, using the movement speed to try and hype themselves behind it. There's the Graviton to lead the way, waiting for that opportunity with the shield. Hopefully going to drop here in a second. As they don't actually use it, they'll hold off, forcing them back. With Transcendence now going to be unleashed by Up Gaming. And there's the Earth Shatter, knocking down a few. But now in the return, gaining 3, able to turn it back. It will be Up Gaming claiming the point for a brief moment, as they're forcing LFT away. Still having Pizza Lover with that sound barrier to try and optimize on this position. Fasty getting a double, looking to turn it back around, as they're starting to finally gain their, footing here, as they were able to turn that around regardless of the Earth Shatter that started by Up Gaming, managing to turn it back, stopping at 59% and climbing at 32 themselves.
Yes, a huge retake coming in from Up Gaming, even though it was quickly taken back from LFT. Every single percentage counts, and as we will most likely be going into 99 to 100 territory with how close these teams have been performing, every single take matters.
Atticus getting that rally to initiate here to make sure that they do have the buffer going into this fight, with the Graviton available by Mariz on the side of LFTOWL. Needing to, again, be very wary of this, pulling so many in. There's the self-destruct just behind it. Can they break the shield? Going to be able to do quite a significant amount of damage here as Fasty gets the follow-up here. And now having the Earth Shatter overhead by Up Gaming. AGM not going to gain as much value out of it as they would have liked, forcing them back once again. And now starting to persevere up through Up Gaming's percentage and getting to about that 2/3 marker and continuing to climb.
It can be a bit difficult being a Reinhardt in this current meta, as right there, Tishazine was just charged out of the way, allowing Aegon self-destruct to be able to be a lot more capable. However, excellent timing coming in from Partle's sound barrier, which protected the rest of his team from all of that explosive damage. Now let's look at the ultimates. Both teams both have Transcendence available and Earth Shatter. However, Pizza Lover does have that very important sound barrier, as Partle just used his.
On the high ground position, trying to ambush. There's the Earth Shatter, but it will be a Transcendence forced out on the side of Up Gaming. Tiago getting a great position with it. Now the Earth Shatter in return, but going to be blocked by Fasty. Nice job with the response time to contest against it, since it's still going to be in the overtime. Utilizing that sound barrier on both sides, but there's going to be a reposition now on the high ground. Not going to be able to get it. Cannot believe how high that reposition was for Pardo, as the overtime's going to take away, managing to keep it. LFTOWL claiming first round.
Yes, and with a 100 to 59% victory for LFTOWL, this is a major advantage as they do go into the next round. I'd like to highlight Olay once again with those Discord orbs, being the hero of that last matchup, and every single kill feed. I swear you could have seen that little Zenyatta picture. But as we do go over to Garden, I'm curious to see whether or not LFT and Up Gaming will keep that Reinhardt central composition, as we typically do see a bit more Winston on this map. However, it looks like once again, oh nope, Fasty will be deciding to run the Winston, so that might add a little bit of pressure onto Partle and Tiago in the back line. Watch for Edgicus to be very pretty much a babysitter to the rest of that support line in the back line there.
And again, they've gotten the first round. They can be, a little bit more aggressive with this dive composition, having Fasty on the Winston, like you said, looking to harass 20 seconds until the control point does become active, and they're looking to maintain this position first, as Up Gaming is looking for that flanking opportunity.
Yes, and there's going to be so much shield breakage on both sides from Olay and Tiago, but here comes the jump coming in from Fasty, but Tishazine is just hammering away at his enemy.
Explosive amount of damage here onto Mariz, needing to be very careful, getting extremely low, having to force them back and seeing if it will be once again Up Gaming claiming this point first. But, you know, LFTOWL looking to play very competently right now in the back line, waiting and holding on to see when they can re-engage with Fasty in the front, getting the opportunity to get a massive amounts of damage with that Tesla cannon, forcing them the way, and there's the pick to start it off. Ole doing a great job taking out that Reinhardt on Up Gaming to consistently cause a lot of pressure, and hopefully gonna look to get that trickle now with the domino effect onto Up Gaming.
Yes, and even though you might hope in South American Contenders where passion is almost everything that Up Gaming would be able to come through, there's simply a snowball after that first kill onto the main tank, and LFT has the ultimates to show their dominance on that first push. Not only do they have the rally as Leviathan is showing right now, Olay has that Transcendence, and Fasty, of course, that Primal Rage has the Winston, whereas for Up Gaming, they are all getting close, but Tiago is the only one with Transcendence, but Tishazine is down!
And that's the big pivotal anchor to this. Having Tishazine going down so quickly on the side of Up Gaming is just absolutely devastating. Forcing out the Primal Rage by Fasty, just completely dominating once again. Gonna force a retreat now, wanting to regroup, utilizing their cooldowns, and see how they're gonna once again buy a little bit of time here for TH7 to get back online.
Although I personally prefer seeing the Earth Shatter as opposed to the Primal Rage in terms of the two differences in these tanks. Right now, Tishazine has just been segmented out from the rest of his team. More resources do need to be put into this main tank to increase his durability.
Tishazine now leading the way once again, seeing if they can try and get the separation. Discord are mostly going to go onto him quickly, but the rally is going to be there with the shielding as well. Now going to find the Earth Shatter in the back, landing onto it, but now he's going to have Olay with the Transcendence to persevere through all of the incoming damage, even the grab, but Tishazine finally getting that pick onto Leviathan in the back, managing to at least get one support, now the second, hoping to drop the self-destruct to gain another opportunity with the remake, but no, Tishazine going to prevent it, not gaining the opportunity, as now Up Gaming looks to turn it back and finally start to gain some percentage here.
And that's why I love that Earth Shatter. If done well, that is an almost guaranteed team fight win. The only second really to the Graviton Surge in terms of impact. So right now with Tishazine having another Earth Shatter already due to the drawn out nature and aggression of that last fight, I can see Up Gaming being able to hold this for a couple of more holds for another few fights.
Especially leading with that if they don't have that shield now because they opted for Fasty on the Winston, going to jump into the back now, using that initial barrier to try and prevent the damage, but the Earth Shatter down the choke point, managing to get two with the follow-up charge. Tishazine now going to get that pick onto the back line, getting the DMAC here very shortly as they will look to force them away. Up Gaming completely clearing them out, and Tishazine again already at 50% of a charge, having now not only the sound barrier, but the Graviton, and even soon to have their own Transcendence coming out as well.
And Up Gaming can be so much more aggressive thanks to Edgicus's armor from that last rally. Look at Tiago. Not only is he such an aggressive Zenyatta already, when you have all of those extra armor points, that Zen can be a force to be reckoned with. Transcendence is also available for Up, so they have two vital support ultimates, whereas LFT have nothing to work with currently.
And they're trying to be very careful on how they approach this. They do not want to get an early pick again since you don't have the ult economy. As you said, we have to be careful. Katrina needing to be, very aware of how this Graviton is going to be used by TH7. Maybe going to get it very quickly here on the side as it will be eaten. No, never mind, not eaten. That was who I thought it was eaten, but the Earth Shatter now going to come out by Up Gaming. Looking to follow up Graviton now, going to get Olay in the front, but the Transcendence seeing if they can try and just withstand it, cleaning them up one after another, 85%. And now LFT is going to have to hurry very quickly with Pizza Lover to get onto this point. So see if they can try and contest one last time.
I'm not sure if they're going to be able to, with Partle having booped off almost three times against LFTOWL. Partle has been outstanding, and right now as we do go into overtime, Muriz does have that Graviton Surge.
And they do have Olay switch onto the Moira, seeing if they can try and get some benefit out of that as the sound barrier is going to come out. Earth Shatter to follow up as so many members are there. But again, the Transcendence giving so much support here for Up Gaming to withstand the incoming changeover with Fasty trying to land it. Now having, again, Olay with that Moira doing a lot of healing, the charge in the front, but now get picked off once again. It will be Up Gaming completely isolating them away, knocking down so many members and keeping it going as overtime is still commencing.
Yes, and right now it does seem like Up Gaming will be able to take this to the distance on Lijiang Tower. This with a team kill to solidify their victory. Edgicus has just been able to solidify this defense on Lijiang Tower so so incredibly with that area of effect healing coming in from Brugita's FLTOWL. Right now, as we do go into Night Market, I will be curious to see if LFT will once again try to use the Winston as opposed to the Reinhardt, as we do see a bit more variation on this map, sometimes even Farmer sees. But right now, I would not be shocked to see if both of these teams do remain on their triple tank, triple support GOATS compositions with Reinhardts, as both of these teams have been outstanding throughout Contenders. They feel like they can out-mechanic their opposition.
Indeed, especially with Fasty, they switched to the Reinhardt right at the tail end of it, and they needed to probably do that a little bit sooner. So they're just going to opt going into it here. They're not going to want to risk it. They're going to take that Rein to Rein battle with 20 seconds until the control point does become active and getting some initial engage opportunity here on the front before it even opens.
Yes, and Aegon has been eating quite a bit with that defense matrix already, but the Orb of Discord is on Fasty. This is going to be very dangerous as his shield's about to be broken.
There we go, gonna get the cleanse now with the shielding coming out by the Zarya player. Mariz doing a great job. Pin almost getting around the corner, managing to withstand it. Fasty actually gonna get it with TH7 going down as they're forcing him out of this position. Not gonna be able to survive for too much longer, as it will be LFT gaining that early pick, starting that domino effect as we've seen, went out with an entire team killing, gonna gain some decent percent and get into a good defensive position.
That was an environmental kill coming off that charge. It booped that Zarya off the edge, but right now you can see the impact of Fasty's aggression, not just in the kill feed, but also in terms of ultimate economy. And Earthshatter is about to be available, and we saw how impactful this ultimate was on Gardens from T-Shazine.
Ole also having that Transcendence coming up so quickly for this engage, regardless if Fasty lands the Earthshatter or not, and seeing if they can maybe gain some opportunity. That's going to be the drop, will be the protection from the Zarya with the shield, but still, so much has been already forced onto this team. They get the DMEC onto AGM, starting to maximize their positioning again with the follow-up, not able to do anything about it. And again, they have Tiago with the Transcendence, but it's coming up too late to really withstand that incoming damage that they had.
Yes, there have been 2 team kills for 2 team fights in this version of Night Market, and Muriz having that Graviton Surge in conjunction with Aegon having the self-destruct. That might just be the recipe for a third one, unless Tiago is able to pull off a massive Transcendence.
And there is a massive amount of energy coming out with the Graviton to follow up, but the Transcendence, again, by Tiago, going to hold strong, keeping them alive, but they do still manage to get the DMEC, losing that frontline tank. Now going to get Edicus on that front line as well, just continuing to stagger, and they are just playing so effectively right now. They are getting the ultimate rotation perfectly, managing to have the damage boost. The energy is still sustainable coming out by Mariz, and LFT just looking so strong right now back on that Reinhardt composition.
Yes, it's going to be very difficult for Upgaming to be able to retake, especially because Pizza Lover has that sound barrier, which can effectively negate TH7's Graviton Surge. But AGM also has a self-destruct available. Tiago has also switched over to the Moira.
And the Earthshatter comes out, only gaining 1, able to take him out, almost able to get the pick with the sound barrier as a lifesaver right now with the follow-up. Gonna be repositioning around the inner side. Gonna also have the rally to give some assistance. Overlapping the ultimates here by the support, seeing if they can withstand it, as now the Graviton's gonna come out by LFTOWL, but the numbers advantage still gonna favor LFT. They are just getting one after another. If they didn't overlap those support ultimates, that's the communication aspect that sometimes becomes so difficult, as it's now going to be Upgaming managing to claim it for a short period of time, but LFT forcing them off, cleaning it up, wanting to claim it right here. Last chance for anybody to get on it for overtime, but isn't going to make it in time, denying that Wrecking Ball from touching the point.
And although that was a 3-map Legion Tower, LFT won that so convincingly, not only because of their ultimate charge, but they were really able to to really go behind Fasty's amazing aggression as the Reinhardt. He was able to charge those Earthshatters just as quickly as T-Shazine on Gardens. I mean, right now, these Reinhardt battles, I think, will define who comes out on top in this matchup.
And, you know, we saw that play of switching onto the Winston, seeing how it was going to work. And again, since they already had the leading match, they had the opportunity to play a little bit more risky. They were confident in that Reinhardt play. They had the Winston to see if it might work going into Gardens. Really didn't work in their favor. They switched back to the Reinhardt. They had a better chance to do it. And they said, you know, we're just going to keep going into this third match. We're going to keep the Reinhardt. We're not going to risk it. We're going to just go Rein to Rein, able to gain the advantage multiple times between the shield uplifting by Upgaming. And it's honestly, you know, even just taking a look here at the replay once again, you know, we're going to get that Graviton coming out, the synergy between the two of them, the follow-up, the pin. Fasty just doing a great job on this Reinhardt all around, with the fluidity of his team supporting him and just dominating against Upgaming at the moment.
Yes, LFT is moving as one single unit. There is so many heroes on every single kill. It's been absolutely incredible to watch their one mind gameplay pretty much. But I am curious to see if Upgaming will decide to continue to run a mirror matchup against LFT, as they were pretty much outclassed during that last matchup on Night Garden. So that's going to definitely be something that might play into this next matchup. Will they decide to counter, or will they mirror? We'll find out on Hollywood.
And, you know, again, with that map, I had thought originally maybe going into Nubani. Again, there's a lot of verticality to it. There is as well for Hollywood, but it's a little bit of adjusted play, especially when it comes to the defensive position. We've seen a lot of the Orisa play. We've seen some also unique play coming out with the Protect the McCree. We've seen some Doomfist. We've seen a variety of things. And that's one of those things, I think, like you just said, are we going to see this consistent mirror match? Is Upgaming going to really specifically choose to try and take this on with a map that they feel they favor more, or they want to break away from it and try and put LFT, you know, on a tilter right now to see if they can maybe gain the advantage?
Because both teams have had moments where they seem completely dominant, where they have all of the ultimate economy, where they're able to capitalize and be extremely aggressive. When they dictate the pace, Upgaming looks like a true champion. However, LFT got 2 team kills in a row on Night Market. So confidence, passion, excitement, I think these are all going to be factors as we do move on to Hollywood.
Agreed. And not to say anything negatively to Tisha Zine, it's still playing a great Reinhardt play, but you just see the maneuverability coming out by Fasty. We saw, you know, in every map where there was just a great reposition, either utilizing environmental statues, using the pillars, using, you know, the environment to their advantage, and claiming so much more out of every encounter. And as you said, it's going to be that pivotal Reinhardt v Reinhardt play, and who is going to gain the bigger smash on the opposing team.
This is going to be a matchup of individual comparisons, even though these two teams are a very well-oiled machine. For example, with Pizza Lover versus Partle, I really loved watching on Night Market their timing of all of those ultimates. The momentum of the entire fight shifted once Pizza Lover was the first to bring down. No, it was Partle who was the first to use that sound barrier, and then Pizza Lover just waits a couple of seconds, allows the team to back up the rest of LFTOWL, and then uses his own, so that the timing just, when they were able to recharge back on the point, the sound barrier had expired on the side of Upgaming, and they were able to once again just dominate on that specific map. So there's been a lot of mind games, not only with my favorite Reinhardt v Reinhardt, but in every single matchup.
And, you know, just to kind of piggyback off of, you know, the brief description about how you were talking about the Lucio utilizing the sound barrier, waiting just those few seconds, there was, again, that part when it came to Night Market towards the end where you saw the overlap of the support ultimates, where it was the Rally and the Lucio sound barrier. If they, I think, were able to maybe stagger that a little bit more, it would have benefited them through that transition from that backline position where they were out of an opportunity to really advance on to LFT, but then they, you know, had 2 of these. They had expended it. If they started with the Rally, maneuvered through, withstood the incoming Earth Shatter, then used the sound barrier immediately after, or vice versa even, it would have given them a lot more opportunity to endure the damage that was happening on the point to hopefully turn it back around. But unfortunately, just, you know, a little bit of communication just coming in short for them.
Whereas I would compare the last game we just saw to a game of Jenga. I would say that this is more of a elite chess match, because we're looking at every individual ultimate, each ability, and a lot of the times these two teams have the same set of players, same set of pieces. So this is going to be one of the most interesting matchups I think we will see in South American Contenders.
And we're going to get into this next match, which, again, we already said was Hollywood. And we'll maybe see, again, that little bit of breakaway. Going to get some early vision even on some Hearthstone right now, as we're going to get some nice clips of that gaming screen. Looking to see who it's going to be. It's going to be a Paladin versus the wonderful player of Thrall. Shaman, yes, indeed. Going to have those totems to start off with as well. But, you know, as they're going to come out here, let's see if we'll have, you know, that alteration. But it looks like Upgaming on the attacking side, looking to potentially stay with that 3-3, but, you know, since we can look at LFT now on the defensive position, since they're already in position to contest against this, 15 seconds to go, and they're getting ready with this triple tank, triple support, and not going to waver away from that Reinhardt pick.
Yes, I'm not surprised, given that they were so dominant with Fasty leading the charge. That Orb of Harmony is already on this Reinhardt, and this is going to be the top priority. Every resource will be invested into Fasty, but Olay gets the first pick onto Partle already.
Wowzers, through the doorway, long-ranged orbs going straight for the face, able to get one and just gonna buy a few seconds with that nice wave and the taunt on the floor.
Yeah, that was a little bit of BM coming in from Olay, but right now, let's just take a look at the ultimate charge that Fasty has already gained on this Reinhardt, already at a 40% as opposed to Tisha Zine's 9. But here comes the first initiation from TaeShiZine.
Trying to push forward TaeShiZine, wanting that opportunity to contest against it, but he's getting very low. Has to be cautious here, maneuvering forward, needing to use those shields effectively. Just gonna miss the pin as well, and gonna get stunned on the return. Fasty, though, gonna go down. Nice job here with that Discord Orb, able to focus down that frontline tank. Hopefully this is gonna start staggering in favor of Up Gaming. Once you break that Reinhardt, it is very difficult to recover from unless you're able to get those backline picks, as now the harass just continues to follow. AGD doing a great job harassing and looking to completely force the team of LFT off this point, and now starting to capture it.
Yes, sometimes all it takes is a single pick, and if it is on your Reinhardt, well, that's pretty much a team win in this current meta. Right now, we did see Tiago especially being very aggressive, being the one to actually off Fasty during that last push, and therefore has that Transcendence available. However, Ole also has one of his own. The biggest difference in ultimate charge right now is between TH7 and Mariz, who are at 90 and 70% towards their Graviton Surge respectively. So that could be, these little numbers could make all of the difference in this next fight.
They truly can, and they're going to try and close the gap as quickly as possible here to gain their own, with Pizza Lover nearing that sound barrier, which they are going to need, especially with Ole having that Transcendence. They want to try and stagger these, so they're not going to overlap them. Graviton is well available for TH7. Going to maybe try and find it, but has to be cautious of that defense matrix we've seen before. But the Earth Shatter is actually going to land as they penetrate through the front shield, going a little bit too far in the extension. Ole getting that Transcendence available, but the self-destruct manages to get Mariz, forcing them back. The dominant nature right now coming out by Up Gaming, and as we said, that's going to really be the deciding factor here of how aggressive the other is going to be on this team. And really, Up Gaming is just pushing it to the limit right now.
Up Gaming is indeed pushing it, but they are using so many ultimates to be able to take this point. LFTOWL has been a bit more conservative with their usage, knowing that they still have an opportunity to touch point one last time on this second part of Hollywood, and they will have so many resources to do so with the Graviton Surge and Self-Destruct combination most likely going to be used in this next upcoming fight.
And, you know, they know that they've committed to it. Up Gaming looking to fall back, want to regroup, try and get a little bit of pick damage. They still have over 3.5 minutes to really buy their time to generate some ult charge to try and contest against LFT. They know the ultimate advantage is most likely in their favor. Earth Shatter available, though, trying to see if TaeShiZine can get it, but stunned in the corner. Can they get the follow-up? There's the Earth Shatter, but the Graviton's going to outweigh it as they get the self-destruct high overhead to secure it, knocking so many members away, committing 2 ultimates to this, but still keeping Leviathan along with Fasty's Earth Shatter and Rally for this next fight.
Really great timing coming in from Fasty, and you see the bubbles coming in from Mariz at the perfect timing. He's been quite not too liberal with those bubbles, instead saving them for these opportune moments, so that when TaeShiZine is able to get these impressive shatters, there's still a couple of players remaining, but here comes another shatter from Fasty after this Transcendence.
And you see it forced so quickly. That is a great ult usage and just pressure by LFT. Now getting the Earth Shatter with no defense to try and withstand it, picking them off, getting the early support takedown along with not only TH7 but also TaeShiZine, forcing them back to their spawn point and just going to try and burn some time. And Mariz, again, with such a high amount of energy, just unleashing so much damage onto Up Gaming.
Rich Red, this is so freaking mean coming in from LFT. It's like they're bullying them back into spawn, but right now, let's take a look at the ultimates. Let's take a deep breath, but right now I don't think we'll have a chance to, as TH7 is about to have that Graviton Surge, and it might come out momentarily.
Gutting for it right now, looking to see if they can tuck it over that hay bale to the right, managing to maneuver forward. The shield still available, but that defense matrix still needing to be careful. 100 energy. They want to land this, but the Transcendence now going to come out and thrown, but only gaining 1, I believe, in the back line. Going to get Fasty at least, but still, that just didn't net as much value as they wanted out of it, as now you're going to see Mariz, not only with Aegon, but Pizza Lover. The stacked ultimate economy against Up Gaming is now starting to work in their favor once again with just under 2 minutes left to go.
Yes, TH7 was just forced into the saloon by the Brigitte. Usually that's the opposite of what you want to do to your friends, but hey, they're in different teams this time. But as we do look at this next team fight, Up Gaming only has this Transcendence to work with, and they only have a minute left. Here comes the Scrab.
Graviton onto the payload, looking for the follow-up with the self-destruct to try and zone them, is able to do so. It will be 2, looking for the D-Mech, wanting the follow-up, and just a clean push right now, utilizing the combo of the grab, self-destruct, and now going to have 4 ultimates. They are about to have Ole with a 3rd support ultimate to combine with Fasty if needed, and still showing just so much presence against Up Gaming right now.
AGM is still alive, still being bullied. Finally gets the mech back, but right now it's earth shattered.
On the far right, gonna gain 3 members of the team of Up Gaming. The follow-up onto TH7. They're just looking to run the clock right now. They have used only 1 support ultimate, still maintaining 2, as Up Gaming's gonna have to try and just get as much charge out of this as they can to once again be forced back to their spawn.
Yes, but LFT is being very aggressive right now, and yes, there is a lot of benefit to that, obviously, but right now, Up Gaming is growing in resources. Tisha Zine especially has been phenomenal with Earth Shatter Charge and will be able to have this fight-winning tool right now.
Earth Shatter waiting to see if they can find that window of opportunity. Not going to have the shield up on the side of Fasty. Maybe going to get it to enough damage to break it here, as they're going to allow them to maneuver forward. They want them to turn this corner around the jail. Going to also keep sights on the side here, trying to sneak through. Is he going to be able to do it? Oh, he's able to get 3. He will just peek just around the corner for the shield, getting the pin now onto Leviathan, getting another. But now, Egan still in this with the self-destruct, going to try and use it to force them away on the defensive side. As Sound Barrier is also going to come out by Pizza Lover, giving some great assistance to the team. Now they have 5 seconds to go. They need to stay on it. They have the Graviton by TH7. Not sure if they want to commit it, as they're going to drop it in the back, managing to hold them away. Self-destruct on the point from both sides. Can they get behind the shield? Only going to claim 1. Mariz going to go down. The follow-up stun by Tisha Zine for the stun in the back, looking to gain enough momentum here, as they are literally at 0.07 meters. They have to just force the last 2 members off this point to claim it, to go after the overtime. And there it is with 1 minute and 30 seconds still to go.
With a team kill to solidify that, right now these Reinhardts are living with honor, dying with glory. Just the absolute intensity of this matchup. I'm having a blast watching this, but right now I can really see Up Gaming gaining a lot of strength. They did just get this team kill. Were able to manage their ultimates so effectively, especially Partle with that sound barrier coming in at the end. It wasn't just AGM's self-destruct, it was also the supports that allowed this push to happen.
And now LFT is going to utilize that rally here in the back to give some great defensive pressure. They are able to maneuver forward with that light protection from the shielding, as they're wanting to force back Up Gaming. Tisha Zine, though, has that Earth Shatter along with the Transcendence coming up by Tiago. Starting to retreat. Again, not wanting to overinvest here. LFT playing this very well. They have 35 seconds still to go, trying to regroup, wanting to find the opportunity, but just going to get it under the payload. Not going to have the shield. He was too far forward. Fasty going to get overwhelmed by that push, but going to force out the Transcendence by Olay. Great usage as well. Still having the Earth Shatter on the side of LFT, waiting and finding that window again on this potential high ground. Moving to the far left-hand side, using those stairways to move up with the now return to the Earth Shatter, taking out so many members of Up Gaming. Can they exploit them now in this tight choke point? Gaining 1 onto TH7, getting Edicus as well. The ultimates are there by AGM, but so much pressure being forced onto this team, as they are going to have to look to regroup. 5 seconds to go. Can they manage to get there in time to keep it into overtime for another moment longer, as they look to dive on the D.Va, managing to do so. DMAC coming out with the self-destruct, going to explode. Shield coming up by Fasty with the grab to lock them into the doorway. Not going to make it, as they do have a solid hold here just before reaching the end of Hollywood.
What an exciting first round of Hollywood right now. These two teams are giving it all, and Up Gaming getting that team kill at the end of the second point of Hollywood has been a highlight of this matchup so far. We're seeing a lot of conservation of ultimates, and then once both of these teams get close to 6, they're just laying it all out. So right now, it really is a battle of inches. There's just such small, minute differences that are leading to team fight wins and losses. And I frankly can't wait for this next round. Can you, Rich?
I mean, I can't. I mean, this is exciting. You see these two Titans at this point going against one another, and it really is Up Gaming having themselves, you know, on that pedestal at the top, knowing where their position is, going against LFT, who is causing a real challenge for them right now. And they're having to really take a moment and reevaluate how they want to go into this, because again, they're not playing badly. They are just a lot of the time being outmaneuvered, sometimes, you know, out ult managed, and even just communication wise, they have so much synergy on LFT over Up Gaming right now.
And right now, the defense will be coming in from Up Gaming. They will be running once again that Zenyatta Goats composition with Tiago, who has been just him and Olay going back and forth with these Discord orbs, with these, I keep calling them sniping, because right now they've just been hitting shots like nobody's business. I don't
Let's
think
be honest, on that early pick, the time just before, through like 3 doorways.
That was just crazy. And right now we do see some actual snipers being teased, but something tells me that Olay will be going back to his trusty Zenyatta after getting a couple of bits of scouting information with Pizza Lover on the Widowmaker.
Getting now that movement here to try and see how they're going to encounter the side of Up Gaming, needing to be very reserved here and how they want to play it. They had a very aggressive style for Up Gaming onto the point, and we'll see if LFT is going to play the same style, using Fasty on the front, using this wall very effectively and trying to peek here with that shield again, pivoting that camera to get the angle on how they want to approach this and taking it very cautiously. Now starting to get some aggression here onto Tijazine, but it's really just this back and forth right now. They have not yet really committed any engage just yet, and there's the bash onto Tijazine, dropping the shield. But again, some great support coming in the back by TH7 as they just once again are going to force them back and waiting to get that first ult.
Marissa's bubbles have been outstanding. We did see Fasty have a moment of weakness, and right there, that Zarya was there to defend her Reinhardt. But look, Tijazine and Fasty are about to have combating Earth Shatters, so let's see which one comes out first.
You're very right, Katrina. We need to be very careful on how they want to engage this. It's going to be Tijazine getting it first. Fasty just coming up short, but they're not going to use it. They're going to hold back, looking to turn the corner. Who's going to get it? It will be one, as they do get a shield, though, preventing most of it on the return now. Having, I think, the benefit go in favor of LFT as the charge comes out in the rear position. Managing to also get both Transcendences forced out by the support. Pizza Lover getting a great kill here with the D-Mech onto that, with a Graviton going to pull them. Mini Diva going down by Olay again, just dealing so much damage with that Discord Orb and focus, and now going to look to take down Tijazine immediately with that Discord once again, and they're having the dominance. Even though they're going to be able to stabilize a little bit here, it's still an even 2-for-2 contesting on the point, not just out of the fight yet. Tiago doing everything available to try and get Leviathan out of that, and manages to do it, holding strong here, not allowing them to get this first tick.
Really impressive hold coming in from Up Gaming, and all of these fights are kind of reminding me when I was in primary school doing music, and they made you do those rounds where you start and then someone starts the same thing right after you. We're hearing so much of the same order of ultimates over and over again. You have the self-destruct, then you have the sound barrier, then you have the transcendence, then the grab. It's just the mind games, the gameplay coming from both of these teams is outstanding, and I think it's just going to happen all over again with Fasty initiating with an Earth Shatter.
Wanting to find the window. Can he look around the corner here? Managing to kill, still keep that shield high, though. You do see Tijazine wanting it. There's the Earth Shatter, getting the entire team, but not going to get the Transcendence. Will be able to survive through it. Tiago doing a great job staying just to the outside of where that cone effect was for the Earth Shatter to keep it going, as now you will also see Olay dropping it of their own. Energy now going to be unleashed by TH7, getting the Graviton, pulling them together, eliminating one member after another with that 100 charge, and really just now Fasty all alone left to fend for himself, as this team is going to be forced back again with just over 1 minute remaining now.
There's so little time left, and Up Gaming has been able to not even give away a single tick and have ultimate advantage going into what most likely will be this final fight. They'll have the armor coming in from Edgicus, whereas Leviathan is only at 50%. However, the only advantage I can really see coming in from LFT is Transcendence Charge, as well as Graviton Surge Charge. So it's going to be vital for TH7 to be able to be liberal, more liberal with his bubbles, protect Tijazine, and gain that charge as quickly as possible to solidify maybe even a full hold.
And they have that Tijazine Earth Shatter waiting for that shield to drop. They want to land this. They need to. With 30 seconds to go, they have to get the opposition over this team, with Fasty slowly penetrating forward to try and get the opportunity to contest against it. But the Graviton, like you said, is available. Going to be thrown. It's on the high ground in the back, but repositioned to the side. It will be Tijazine getting the Earth Shatter, managing to pin them in the back as well. Trying to follow up onto it. AGM going to have the self-destruct, but not going to unleash it just yet, as they do force them away. Starting to get it. Sound barrier coming out by Pizza Lover, but there's the return. Now going to get it. Tijazine getting solo. Can they get the follow-up damage, as now AGM dropping this self-destruct, but still not going to gain much out of it. Up Gaming not out of the fight still, as they finally go into overtime. TF, it's going to be LFT just trying to survive. Overtime shredding away. They do get the final picks, completely claiming victory. No, overtime, just about a little bit more time by Olay, giving the last little energy he's got, as there will be an end with Up Gaming claiming victory on Hollywood. Great selection going into this.
This is one of the most true one-to-one into halftime matches I have seen. These two teams have provided us with an incredible set of maps, and I just can't wait to see how this ends up. I'm really hoping that we get up to a Game 5, maybe even the third map of our final control.
It would be extremely exciting. And again, that was a great pick going into Hollywood. They knew that it was going to be an opportunity for them, and that they really did play it very well on that first point, not wavering away from their confidence, their map of choice, and they've been doing an absolutely stellar job so far. And we're going to let the desk go ahead and take a little bit further dive into how both of these teams are playing and get a match up here for the last two matches and even potentially a fifth.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Katrina. This has been quite the series so far. It's 1-1. LFTOWL taking the control map. Upgaming turning it around on Hybrid on Hollywood after that incredible defense. So I'll start with you boys. We got to compare apples to apples, and it's been the apples to apples Zengoats versus Zengoats. So it's hard to sometimes point out an individual who stands out because it's all about coordination of your tanks and your supports. But I feel like TH7 has stood out as Zarya. He's been known for his hit scan in Season 2, now having to step out as the Zarya. Paul, I'll start with you. What do you think of TH7 in compared to Mures?
It's kind of interesting, right? Because when we went to Lijiang, both of them were dying with Grav a lot. Like, let's be honest, right? We can be honest with these players. They're better than me. They were dying with Grav more than you should, and TH7 realizes that, but in the wrong way. So when it goes to Upgaming's attack on Hollywood, he's still looking a little funky, right? He dies with Grav again. He throws one out before he dies to no avail, and he just looked a little frazzled, right? He looked much better on the defense. Honestly, Upgaming as a whole looked much better on the defense when it came to their shot calling, when it came to their ultimate usage. It was much more solid and much more team play. They looked grounded.
And Frito, on the attack of Upgaming, it wasn't flawless, right? They didn't finish the map. And we had pointed out while we were watching the match that there was quite a bit of overlap of support ultimates from Upgaming.
Yeah, I think that was a very glaring mistake that kept happening on both maps. But realistically, I think the mistakes and cracks we're seeing from either team is essentially because we're seeing such a high level of this 3-3 composition going at each other. Katrina called it chess, and I think it's possibly even in the 4D underwater Mahjong territory with the baits and counter plays. There's points where you would see perhaps Edgigus at the last point on third on the Hollywood attack was going for that aggressive Bash Shatter, hiding around the corner. Well, they sniffed that out, focus him down, outplay the entire thing. Another humongous play that I think saved the entire defense was Tiago on the Zenyatta with the reaction transcendence in order to save his entire team who just got Bash Shattered themselves. So I think these players are really trying to look for these openings and playing an intuitive way that can sometimes whiff hard because the enemy is really forcing them to make good decisions. Both teams running the Zengoats mirror, which we know plays a bit more passive, a bit more poke heavy, and way more punishing with high spike damage and frags that come through incredibly quickly. We saw many kills that Ole was getting set up by bashes as well onto the enemy Reinhardt, and there's players popping off on both sides. Partle with some sick boops on the first map that ended up keeping them in the game. And on this one, of course, it looked like Upgaming was struggling going through that attack. But with, despite having a very young roster, you might think they'd look frazzled up to that point, but held the line and made a ton of clutch plays on that defense. And they're right back in this series.
Yeah, and this is where we see a lot of the nuance of GOATs come in, right? This isn't your ranked game. This isn't competitive at your plat games, right? This is high-level Overwatch where these two teams understand all the different interactions, right? They understand that you can use Zarya bubbles more than just to get charged. You can use Brig stuns more than just to take out the Rhine shield. You can use the Discord more than just to delete the Rhine, right? There's so many different interactions and how all these abilities stack on top of each other, and it's really the macro plays and the micro plays coalescing in such a beautiful way that we don't get to see a lot of the time.
I can't believe Upgaming, they were lossless, or I guess they hadn't dropped a map this entire season until LFTOWL came on control. But this is where Upgaming are finding their strides. Although they didn't have the cleanest offense, they didn't finish the map, their defense seems to be their strength.
Yeah, I think that when you look to that as well, both sides, despite a few nitpicks on some abilities or ultimates not landing, it's really teams that are making the play in the clutch scenario where you have to sneak in a Graviton or sneak in an ult, the later support ult by a second or two. The margins on this matchup are incredibly thin, and that makes me excited for the rest of the series because we are probably in for some really close Overwatch. I'm wondering if we're going to see Upgaming crack the break glass if necessary Doombra box that might be coming up into the next map, going onto the assault, because that's where I really thought that we might end up seeing, because I knew that the passive Zenyatta Goats playstyle out of LFTOWL was going to be quite competent. And realistically, I think beyond a few incredibly clutch plays on that Hollywood defense, this looks like a 2-0, but it was with some really clutch ultimates that swung back fights. Because a lot of these fights, I feel like Tishazine is either pushing himself into really overly aggro positions, or just constantly getting booped by the enemy Brigitte or the enemy Lucio, and they're able to isolate him. But it's been, to me, more about which team has been able to bail out their Reinhardt when things are going wrong and still land ultimates that's winning some of these fights. So that defense, it took me utterly by surprise, because they didn't look very convincing on the attack, but it was enough to end up winning the map.
And you know, it's funny you mentioned Tishazine getting caught out, because it's almost like Upgaming is using him as bait in some of these fights, right? He'll go off way into the back, and then all of a sudden, the entirety of LFTOWL will turn around and be like, kill the Reinhardt, kill the Reinhardt. Oh wait, whoops, we forgot that the rest of their team is behind us, and now we've lost 3 people to get this Reinhardt, right? We saw that on Upgaming's offense more than once, right? So it's mind games going on between these two teams right now. And it's so fun to watch.
And I got to be fair to Fasty, because at the start of the show, a little bit critical of his play last week. That's something that I think they really upgraded. Again, I don't think it was necessarily them failing too hard on the attack. I think Upgaming actually had an incredible playmaking defense, and sometimes the enemy hits abilities, you're just going to end up losing that map. Fasty's been holding his own. The Winston play on, was it Gardens? That's the map.
Yeah,
wasn't too convincing, because it was a little bit too slow even for how long these poke phases were going on for. Tishazine was able to land a lot of key shatters in that matchup. But when it's straight Rein v Rein, it is a bit of a counter bait setup that both teams are doing, getting the mind games to try to find for the rest of the supporting cast, either Zenyatta's or Zarya's, to find their value into these fights. So I think moving on to, do we know the map yet? I think it's probably very, like, 99% going to be Hanamura, right? Moving on to
Let's
that.
be honest, it's usually Hanamura.
With how coordinated these teams are playing, I said this last game, but it ended up not being true. But I think we're going to go in for quite a long Hanamura, possibly, with the score possibly getting up into even like 6-8 territory with how well these teams are playing.
That was going to be my next question, actually. Assuming we're going into Hanamura, it's Upgaming who haven't dropped an Assault, and LFTL who dropped the Assault, I believe, versus LFO in week 2 or the previous week. So, assuming it's a Goats versus Goats, and we have confirmed it's going to be Hanamura, so hey, even better. Now that we've seen Goats versus Goats this entire time, I'll give it to you, Paul, first. Who has the better Goats going into Hanamura?
I don't think it's really a matter of better Goats right now. You can make an argument it's LFTOWL. I think that throughout they've had a higher average when it comes to success of the Goats comp, right? But you can't count out Upgaming when we just saw them full hold, right? They didn't even give a tick away. So it's very back and forth, and if Upgaming can keep it clean, I think we're gonna see some close matches. But this is Hanamura, and this is a place, like Frito was saying, where we could very well see that emergency Doomfist Sombra, because it's something that Upgaming has shown great success on. And if they can show that level of success, the back half of the series might not be as close as the front half.
I think they'll need it. I said it at the start, and this is the point where I think is the case. LFTOWL, their shot calling, it looks so much better. I want to see their aggression pick up from where it sort of faltered last week in the LFO matchup. That would be the key to victory for me, for them to ride out the second half.
Yeah, and on Assault, you can afford, like when you're on defense, to, try something new when it comes to that point A hold, which is where the Doomfist Sombra really exceeds, right? Because like you said, we can almost kind of expect to go into those time bank rounds. So one bad hold on point A isn't the end of the world.
Well, we're just shortly getting into our Hanamura map. I promise it's going to be a short break, but when we get back, map 3 between LFTOWL and Upgaming is right around the corner.
Hello and welcome back from our short break as we are going to go into this first match. You've seen now a 1-1 score matchup as we go into this third one, which again is going to be Hanamura between Up Gaming and LFT. As you know, we're getting into this, you know, Katrina, this is one of your favorite maps. You have so much insight on it. And you know, with this moving forward, we've still seen the consistent GOATs play. The Ryan v Ryan, who's going to have the more pivotal Earth Shatter, the supports playing their minds out right now. Do you think we're going to see any change? And like the slight chance at all?
I think there's definitely a chance. Whether or not it's going to happen, I'm not too sure. A lot of the times when we have seen Up Gaming, Edgicus has waited to bring out his signature Doomfist, which can be extremely effective on Hanamura, until they played usually Route 66 on Escort for both the previous 2 weeks, in fact. So my hopes are up, Rich. I really want to see this Doomfist v Doomfist, maybe even a Sombra thrown in there, but the GOAT's play has been so strong.
I mean, it really has. I mean, it'd be exciting to have that. I mean, it'd be a little bit of almost like that wrench in the mix right there. If they wanted to opt to do it, I think it would be definitely one of those things that could, you know, offset the opposite team who chooses to pick it. Just because, you know, they are so comfortable on the GOATs. They've been doing it now back-to-back for 2 matches going into Hanamura. There is the opportunity for this type of versatility and character selection. But, you know, with how well they are both playing, especially going into the 1-to-1, it looks like they're going to try and pick a map that they favor on the side of LFT. Maybe this is going to lead to their benefit. So we'll now have it start swaying there because they opted to select Hanamura. So with us being, you know, in here, they're definitely going to take some kind of adventure, as we can see here, as you insert the coin. But, you know, with the comp already kind of looking on the defensive side, we see that still traditional choice. It's not going to waver away from it, which isn't surprising.
It isn't surprising because Up Gaming has been, well, they just did full hold on Hollywood with this exact composition, so I can't say I am too surprised. However, I do wish we could have seen Edgicus on that Doomfist right now. We are once again having this mirror matchup, but I'm curious to see the positioning of Tishazine. Are they going to stay in that central area? Because there is so much high ground on Hanamura to take advantage of, but right now it does look like we will just be having a fight at the gates. Oh!
And they're going to maneuver quickly through there, but getting the short end of the stick is going to be LFT with the early pick coming out by Tishazine, as you said, just getting that lightning fast 5v6, and Up Gaming is just going to sit back pretty. They're going to generate some ult charges. They're in a good spot, and you see Fasty though, even on the attacking side, has already almost 50% here and surpassing Tishazine.
Yes, has been getting an excellent fire strike as both of these compositions are so condensed. So I would not be surprised unless AGM or Aegon are able to eat them that we do see quicker shatters.
Discord quickly onto Tishazine, needing to be careful. It has to watch out for that cleanse here if they can get the shield from the Zarya as they transition quickly. LFT doing a great job getting on here and now going to force them to the outer side. Getting one tick, buying quite a bit here. And I'm wondering if Up Game's going to look for the engage. They're still waiting for an ultimate here to maybe start turning it into their favor. And they now look to ambush from the side. There's the Earth Shadow though coming out by Fasty as it's going to be the Transcend just by Diago with the Graviton pulling them together next to the Bell. Seeing if they can have the damage to follow up, being very difficult for them to maximize on this point as now the ultimates start funneling in here for Up Gaming with the Earth Shatter going to pull down so many in the corner. Now going to start to take them down one by one with Edgicus, along with AGM still holding on to 2 in their economy against LFT.
All it takes is one perfectly placed Earth Shatter for a team fight to end, and that's exactly what Tishazine was able to do. Saw that Fasty was having the time of his life swinging away and put that to a quick end, but right now Pizza Lover will have that sound barrier for this next fight. All they have to do is go straight back to point, be able to get there, and use that sound barrier before Partle is able to charge his, which will come momentarily.
And now Pizza Lover having the sound barrier, they need to potentially use that to engage this as the self-destruct is going to come out in the back, and there it is, seeing if they can prevent the incoming damage, but Fasty's still going to go down. They overwhelm him on the front, managing to break through the barrier defense so that they do get the pick, forcing them back. Ole getting picked off as well, and now having just under 2 minutes, expended half the time here, and Up Gaming is still in a really good spot, even though they have lost 2 ticks, almost the third here.
Yes, Up Gaming has been phenomenal defensively, especially in this matchup, and I'm curious to see when this game of Goat's Chicken will end. Just when will a team decide to switch off and counter?
Oh, just around the corner, TH7 going to get that Graviton, trying to prevent them from getting any mobility. It will be that self-destruct in the back, easily deflected by Tishazine, doing a great job responding to it, keeping it up, minute and 25 seconds, not really expending too much on the side of Up Gaming as LFT is starting to get close to the wire right now.
Yes, and they are being quite stubborn with their composition, still not switching with a minute remaining. They do have some ultimates coming online with Olay having Transcendence and the extra armor from Leviathan's rally, but here comes another shatter.
Oh, and it's going to be deflected by the shield with the Transcendence force. The pin coming out as well by T-Shazid, not getting the kill since it was on the Transcendence still after, as they do look to regroup and force themselves back to that capture point, making sure that they use this bell in the center along with the walls to mitigate some of the incoming damage and stay out of the sight lines, with Fasty needing to be extremely careful, looking to cleanse that Discord Orb, finally able to do so as they keep continuing to refresh it. There's the Earth Shatter, maybe gonna drop it just underneath the bell, but going to hold on for a moment, seeing if they can force that shield. But there is going to be a pause, unfortunately, from it seems to be potentially another disconnect, but we won't lead to believe just yet here, as we are going to give it just a moment and buy some time to see what the problem might be, whether it's technical, connection, or any reason. Again, we haven't received any information on the specific details for it, so we'll go ahead and just give a brief moment and kind of just analyze what we have in front of us, which is really just Upgaming having, the triple support or triple ultimates available. As actually the pause is going to cut. We're going to have it be real quick. Doesn't seem to be too extreme, as they're going to look to try and press forward, having the advantage still on the side of Upgaming. Earth Shatter going to come out, but they get it with that opportunity. But the sound barrier now coming out on the side of Upgaming. It will be Pardal doing greatly on that defensive positioning, now able to survive through it, completely turning it around, and LFT going into this confidently on Hanamura is now probably questioning the choice.
That was absolutely gorgeous. Just coming back, T-Shazid has been able to, he's just been so well enabled by the rest of Upgaming, allowing him to be quite sneaky, as we do see him getting ready for another big shatter. Here it goes.
Earth Shatter through the door. They don't see it. It will get two. Way's able to be sneaky enough in the back line and does charge out to regroup. They do follow one with now the sound barrier coming out by LFT, managing to keep it into the overtime. They at least got the 2 ticks, going to be the third. They want to claim this first points, and it is one of the typical things to happen, but the Transcendence is going to be able to survive through the Earth Shatter by Fasty, getting a double now with the DMEC as they continue to force them away. Overtime shredding away. LFT not able to rally even with that consistent pressure, and just going to fall short here in round one and not completing objective A.
That is very rare on Hanamura for such a hold to go so long. Upgaming was able to recover not only from that pause where their Fasty did take advantage of that second of let's just say reset, and it shattered almost the entirety of Upgaming apart from Pardal, who came in with a perfect sound barrier to save the rest of his team. Now, I'm really curious to see if LFT, who has been held on the first point by Upgaming 2 times in a row now, will they decide to change things up at all? Will they decide to go for a counter Ghost composition? As of right now, it looks like that is not the case, as their defense will once again be that triple tank, triple support with Zenyatta. So they seem to be sticking to their guns, but I'm not sure if they can rely on them given the past given their past 2 attacks.
And, it's going to be a lot of pressure here put on the shoulders of LFT. Upgaming having such a stellar defensive position. Again, typically on Hanamura, you see the first capture being almost guaranteed. It's very difficult to see the full hold since there are so many opportunities and avenues to capture it. But, now LFT going into this, they know Upgaming's going to present it. They're going to have most likely that triple, as they're going to have to be very aware how offensive and just pressuring this team of Upgaming is going to be on this point.
This has still been, though, some of the best Overwatch I have ever seen. These two teams are evenly matched, although during these fights on Hanamura, it does seem like Upgaming has been able to take so much more advantage of the positioning of Pardal as opposed to Pizza Lover. Pardal has been avoiding a lot of these key ultimates, and a sound barrier has been negating a lot of Graviton surges and Earth Shatters coming from LFT.
Trying to maneuver on the out right-hand side, needing to be careful as they're looking for the opportunity to penetrate through. Shield going to be used quite effectively here. TH7, I think, generating a decent amount of energy as they look to maneuver around and pivoting that camera for the opportunity to pressure forward. Movement now coming in favor of Upgaming as they look for the pin in the back, but will be deleted. Fasty getting a nice fire strike here on the front, taking him down. Mariz doing another great follow-up here onto Edigus, just forcing them back, and they're not going to want to risk any more time. They've already spent a good 30 seconds here. They realize they lost the Ryan on the front, have to regroup and look for attempt another again.
So Tiago was on the Moira and now has switched over to the favored Zenyatta. I do prefer this pick. I feel like they were trying to build up that coalescence extremely rapidly, going to be able to overwhelm LFT with all of that healing and sustain coming in, but I do prefer this Zenyatta due to the shield breaking potential and its ability to overwhelm Fasty.
I definitely agree with you. Basti on the front now going to take a lot of damage, but they do manage to get another one. Ole doing a great job focusing TH7 with the assistance of the Brig on the front, just causing some pressure again, and they're doing a great job. They may actually be able to hold back Upgaming. We saw LFT have a struggle, but at this moment, Upgaming's having an even harder or having a more difficult time.
Yes, and Ole has Transcendence already, whereas Thiago, due to that late switch, is only halfway there, so it's going to be vital for Upgaming to try to trigger that ultimate a bit early, but here comes the sneaky grab.
Looking to be on the wall once again, pulling in 4 members, as it's going to now be the retrieve with the charge, trying to get back to the team. Overextension, unfortunately, did not notice that Graviton in the back, completely shutting down Upgaming, as they now have 5 ultimates on the side of LFT, coming up very shortly with Pizza Lover.
Poor AGM. I mean, I think that this is probably my least favorite part of watching Overwatch as a diva main. When I see all of these baby divas just being chased around, oh, it makes me so sad. But what's going to make Upgaming even sadder is if Basti can pull off a phenomenal Earthshatter, as he has been known to do.
And again, with just under 2 minutes, they've weighed half the clock already in favor and doing a very great job of it. At this point, at least LFT was able to gain the first tick with their commitment that they're going into this fight, and now going to have the aggression once again, trying to persevere through that front line. Earthshatter going to gain 3, but now 2 on the opposite side as they look to follow up. Is still in favor of LFT on the defensive side, gaining 1, going to have the 6v5, slowly picking them off. It will be Upgaming losing now their other support, looking to hopefully get a third, going to jump off the edge, not going to want to give that charge to anybody on LFT to fuel them, as they once again just take another stab at it right now.
And once again, Up is also being extremely stubborn, sticking to this GOATS composition. Yes, they did try to be creative a bit more with that Moira as opposed to the Zenyatta, but right now I'm just confused as to why these teams are not flexing as much as they could. Right now there is a lot of ultimates built up on the side of Up and LFTOWL. Both of their toolboxes are pretty much identical.
They're heading into the board right now as the Graviton's gonna land into the wall, seeing if they can isolate LFT, but a beautiful Transcendence with the overlap though of Pizza Lover, trying to sustain through the incoming damage. AGM now gonna get that self-destruct onto Basti, taking out the Ryan. Will the snowball effect happen as they do gain more? But it will be Zin going down in the back by Ole, evening the score. Both Reinhardt's down, they're looking to get the second tick, they want to get the third. 35 seconds to go, and they're gonna want to stick in this fight right now. LFT not wanting to lose this on the map, wanting to make it a 2 in their favor, as it will be Upgaming not going to have the spawn advantage here, as it will be both sides having a distance to go. Pizza Lover doing a great job moving around the point, as still there's the numbers advantage in favor of LFT, managing to pick them off, as now it's going to be the Wrecking Ball knocked off the edge, looking to force it away. They're not going to get it with 12 seconds. Last chance for Upgaming to really come back into this and hopefully turn it around.
Yes, and we do see the panic swaps coming in with Edgicus finally switching over to the Doomfist. Tisha Zine is once again going back to the Reinhardt. He was on the Wrecking Ball momentarily, but it's not enough. They aren't even able to reach the point, and that's a full hold almost. Well, it's not, excuse me. Upgaming was able to get a single tick, but LFT, the odds were stacked completely against them.
It really was. I mean, I was extremely surprised at how well coordinated LFT was pulling together right there. And, you know, one of the things that you did say is, you know, we do have both of the GOATs. They have a repertoire of other options that they can go to really just try something different. But I feel like they're so ingrained into this that they were at the last moment the only opportunity to switch to the Doomfist, because they wanted to get back to the point. They're not wanting to commit to it. So I almost feel like they're forcing themselves into this just overly just dominant GOATS meta. Again, we're not saying that it's a bad pick, but I think when they started to really struggle time and time again, you're going to see the utilization coming out by LFT and just shutting down Upgaming one after another, positional advantage in favor of them always, and they didn't opt to switch.
And for both of these teams, of course, when you do switch off to a different hero, that resets your ultimate. There are definite cons to not sustaining those high amounts of charge as a Zarya, for example, but there comes a point in time where you just can't beat your head against the wall over and over and expect to just cure your headache. Right now, I'm a bit concerned that both of these teams are just not going to flex to something else. And as Upgaming will have the choice in map, I really anticipate that we will be headed over to Route 66, which they have been brilliant on the past 2 weeks in South American Contenders, with Edgicus being a standout on that Doomfist. I keep talking about his Doomfist, and I want to see it. Not only because it's absolutely entertaining and amazing, and I'll never be able to come even close to that gameplay, but also you need to be able to counter. It's not just countering the specific abilities with your timing. I think right now both of these teams are getting outmatched on their attacks. They're so defensively ingrained, and it's a joy to watch, but it's also kind of painful.
And it's like, for both teams having such a strong understanding of the defensive dynamic to it, you would think that they, knowing their own defensive playstyle, could have some sort of opportunity to exploit it, as it looks like actually we're going to get confirmation going into Route 66 as well. So again, as you said, that supposed pick is going to follow through. Will they be able to, utilize this map to their advantage? Upgaming has been dominant on this map prior, but again, they're really facing an opponent that is causing a lot of harm to them and really taking them down the totem pole just a little bit. And again, they were on this high of highs with the win rate that they had, and now really having to just take a moment back and be like, what's happening to us right now? What are we going to do with this? Do we really opt to break away from the GOATs, or do we still just try to persevere through what we're bashing our heads against, as you said earlier?
Right now, I'm just curious to see what composition they're going to decide to run with. I'm nervous. I'm excited. This game, I think, will determine who will most likely be able to go up against Base Tryhards, the former Brazilian gaming house, the kings of South American Overwatch. Will one of these teams, or maybe even both, would they be able to take down this staple in South American contenders?
And again, that's a lot for us to see. And this map is really, I think, going to depict that. And I mean, even the desk, once we do complete it, they will have a number of things to say going into this. I mean, their opinions probably just as, with ours, bashing their head against us with this GOATS meta and trying to just see if they want to opt to make a difference. So, with this next map of Route 66, we may even see, I doubt it, but, maybe we'll see that May play where it's going to be trying to hold on that payload on the first point. I literally doubt it, but I mean, that would be great to see as well. Maybe if they want to throw a curveball in there, pull that May out and see if it can, be optimized into that tight choke point on the lower left section once the payload does continue to move forward. But, it's at this point, do they really want to risk it? Like, that's the factor. It's the high risk, high reward, since they invested so much into this third match with the GOATS composition and really just trying to now opt to maybe switch it. It's such a risk for them, and they don't want to put themselves any lower into this match, as we are, like I said, going to go into Route 66 very shortly, and only time is going to tell now as they do get themselves situated on this map to what they're going to opt to do.
Yes, I want to see the Sombra on this map. I want to see the Doomfist on this map.
I really do.
Sombra has, I know, right? I mean, everyone wants it, but I have been thoroughly enjoying the GOATS compositions, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, for Route 66 specifically, historically, even before Sombra's Infinite Stealth rework, this was her map. There are so many massive health packs to be able to exploit. There's so much verticality, environmental aspects. I just want to see Sombra be played to this top level that I know Upgaming and LFT both can do. I'm just having so much wishful thinking, Richard. I'm sorry.
And again, it's not a thing that's so unorthodox. I mean, with the change, how Sombra works, the intel that you can gain from it, the utility between. I mean, we've seen even from some of the other regions, like with China, the combination between a Doomfist Sombra can be just devastating. I mean, the synergy between the two. So there's opportunity there, and even just having the Sombra in and of itself, that EMP opportunity to completely negate an entire team of ability usage. And there's so much to it that I think can work for them. But again, it's like you're in the mindset of GOATS is the meta. It's worked for us.
Right.
We know that this can work. Now we're going against a GOATS who is playing on par and in some respects better than we are. Do we want to try and waver from it and just deal with the brunt of it and hopefully make it work in our favor? Or, roll the dice, hope for sixes, boxcars to win, and call it a day?
And you could have told me that you were describing either team, and I would have completely believed you.
It's so true. But I mean, going into it really is. I mean, and again, with the changes, but even those cheesy strats, I don't think, well, not cheesy, but alternative strats that we've seen with the May. It's like they try and bring something a little different, and I don't really know if that's, like we said, something that they would even want to opt to do. And I mean, at that point, it's something that we're going to have to hopefully see here with some time, as they will break it down, take a moment to really evaluate it, and hopefully, maybe take that risk. It's so much in favor of them.
I completely agree. Right now, though, I feel like there is an opportunity for both of these teams to take a major risk, but my bet's on no. I think we're going to once again get that GOATS composition.
And, you know, with us just having a few more minutes going into this Route 66 map, again, getting themselves a little level-headed, making sure that UpGaming and LFT aren't ready for this last fourth match to see if they are going to enter into the fifth or claim it to make it a 3-1 in favor of LFT. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. welcome back as we are getting into this fourth match, which again is going to be on Route 66. As you can see here, no shirts, no shoes. Coming, welcome, as you can see just around the corner, as I missed that last little part there in the details. But yes, we are going to have this matchup coming out with LFT on the defensive side and Up Gaming on the attacking. And you know, with them looking as they're going to be on the attacking side, they may opt to do something a little unorthodox here. Going to change it onto that Widow, Pharah, the Orisa, Hanzo. Maybe we'll get to see something here a little bit different.
Yes, I'm definitely excited to see what these two teams will decide to run, with Up Gaming actually on the attack here, with Edgicus on the Brigitte, as opposed to the Doomfist I've been hoping for. But look, we have quadruple DPS on this defense coming from LFT. They are the first to break from our GOATS composition festivities this entire time, with Olay on the Soldier 76, typically a support player. So now Pizza Lover will be helping out Murs on the pharmacy. This is definitely going to be a shock to Up Gaming, who now have the potential to switch off of their own GOATS composition.
And I'm wondering if they're going to look to try and force them off the comp and change back. There's a lot of different dynamics they can play with this, but right now, again, there is just so much damage being rained overhead with that Pharah play. The boop to get some displacement, forcing them away, as they're now going to unfortunately get Fasty all alone in the back on that Orisa play. Now started to gain the opportunity with the D-Mech, though, onto AGM, so they're not just out of the fight yet. No snowball just yet, as this Quan DPS is still going to try and work in their favor. There's a double kill with the rocket barrage overhead by Marisa, and that's going to be a nice res coming out as well, getting Pharah back in play.
This is actually working. This is really exciting to watch. Aegon being able to build up this Dragon Strike very quickly. Route 66 has a lot of very narrow pathways, which can lead to devastating Dragon strikes, especially if Fasty is able to get that pull, that halt ability in it at the same time, as we did see in that Overwatch League Grand Finals from London Spitfire. So right now with Leviathan giving all of this extra information with infrared sight, we do see some switches on the side of Up Gaming with Tishazine on the Hammond.
Dragon Strike coming through the center, seeing if they can get some opportunity for an early damage or a pick even. But again, you're going to see the rain of damage. Rockets overhead completely shutting down, with Olay getting the D-Mech and a follow-up here onto Tiago. Great job by this quad DPS, and Up Gaming, I don't think really knows how to handle this at the moment.
No, right now they're going to fight fire with fire, as TH7 is switching over to a Widowmaker of his own. And ooh, Edgicus going to be on the Genji. He's a very capable Doomfist, as I've said, but his Genji is something to be reckoned with. Right now, Aegon's going to have to be a bit more careful with those Dragon Strikes.
Tactical buys are going to come down in the back line, coming out by Olay, seeing if they can get an early pick here to maybe get the numbers advantage, but having a difficult time just unloading a lot of damage into these tanks. No early pick, seeing if they can get the follow-up. Going to come up short, though, as Pile Drive is going to get a lot of options here for this team by Up Gaming. A great follow-up here. Edgicus getting the kill, as now it will be TH7 with a nice snipe onto that Pharah play, going to go even further as Leviathan getting some shots back and forth between these Widow plays. And you know, this is that unorthodox play, and something a little bit different that we've all been waiting for outside of this GOATS meta.
Yes, TH7 has been outstanding on the Widowmaker so far, being able to take out Pizza Lover as the solo Mercy healer. That pretty much signifies the end of point A for Route 66, and now we are going back to LFT's trusted and true GOATS composition, with Olay being outstanding on that Zenyatta this entire night. Those Transcendence timings, I've been loving watching this hero play. Up Gaming is now noticing that they are switching over to this GOATS composition. Will they do one of their own? Yes, they will. With Tishazine, though, staying in order to use the minefield first.
They're not going to want to waste field in here. They've got a little bit of time to really try and utilize it here, getting the Pile Drive to follow up, but a little bit spread on the minefield, forcing them back a little bit too much, not really going to gain any value out of it, as they're now probably going to opt to switch it either as the kill does come out onto Up Gaming, or he may just opt to retreat back entirely to switch off. But it looks like they're going to keep it going. They're going to keep the momentum with the team comp that they have and slowly push forward and see if LFT is going to be able to contest against it.
And the self-destruct does come in. It is used as a zoning ultimate. In this case, Edgicus is finally on that Doomfist, and I can see him eyeing Olay right now. Here comes the damage, but oh, he has to go out right away.
Yes, has to dive out of the way, cannot stay in there. No real assistance in the back line, as now, again, the stacked damage just being unloaded from Up Gaming is making it really difficult for LFT. They are being overwhelmed on the front, but generating a decent amount of ult charge. Olay going to force out the Transcendence here. It will be now Pizza Lover having the sound barrier as well. There's almost, he will finally go down, wondering if it was going to get picked off. Now going to most likely switch off that Hammond play. I'm looking at the portrait, not really seeing it too much, as it will be Edgicus getting a nice assault in the back, looking for that kill onto the Brigitte, manages to get the pick, now with the Meteor Strike in the back, looking for Olay, gonna get that quick kill in the back on the second support, as they just still maintain their momentum right now, and will actually keep the Wrecking Ball.
And what can you even do against a Meteor Strike coming in from Edgicus when you are on that Zenyatta? The only thing you are going to do is perish, and TH7 is starting to get ready for this next Graviton Surge setup, knowing that LFT will want to take the high ground the quickest way to the point.
And you see TH7 just hiding behind the wall, waiting to see if they can get a sneaky grab. Not going to do it, though. Going to start to retreat towards it. That would have been a great play if they did reposition on that high ground to gain that positional advantage, as they look to switch up just a little bit here, potentially. Yes, they are going to now have the switch. It will be the Reinhardt now coming out in place of the Wrecking Ball, like the switch towards the end, as we do continue to maneuver forward on Route 66, as they have a Graviton now ready, though, on the side of LFT.
Yes, this third part of the map is usually very beneficial for those high sustain compositions, so I'm not entirely surprised to see the switch. However, we're going to see another exchange of ultimates with LFT about to have 6 right now. So let's see if Upgaming is able to stagger some of those out.
And they're in such a good position. They're holding them in this choke point, able to get vision on both of the side doorways to try and make sure that nobody sneaks into the back line to utilize an ultimate behind them. Probably going to be forced down by Leviathan. On now is the self-destruct with the Transcendence, a sound barrier as well. So many ultimates being unloaded as the Earth Shatter comes out, though, by both sides. Actually, Graviton unloaded in the back. So many particle effects to make anybody happy as fireworks unload, as it will be now another press back. Self-destruct by Agon, taking out Edgicus, but still the return onto Fasty going to go down. Upgaming having that last ultimate to really buy them some momentum here on the attacking side, using that sound barrier to gain the momentum through that choke point, working through that doorway, and now starting to look to turn this corner. And again, gonna look to get some vision here on this team by LFT to try and recontest.
And due to Partl's patience with that sound barrier, Tishazine was able to regain another Earth Shatter, getting a quick charge, and also TH7 is right at the door of another Graviton Surge, whereas Mariz and Fasty are both at around 45%. Looks like Upgaming have the momentum to take this one home.
And they're looking to get into the back. There's the Graviton. It's going to be Pizza Lover brought in with so many other members on that payload. Tishazine getting the charge, taking out another Fasty going down, and just once again, the momentum by Upgaming right now is just unbelievable.
Yes, Tishazine still has that shatter. Edgicus will be able to give out so much armor to the side of Upgaming. Even the Transcendence from Olay, which is coming out and able to contest the point, might not be enough.
Just a few meters left to go. They want to finish this map as they now have the Earth Shatter in the back, but a return as they will get almost about the same amount knocked down, but no real damage to follow up onto it, as the shield's still going to hold strong with the Transcendence forced out on the side of Upgaming. Tiago doing a great job to sustain the team, but now going to head it towards the tail end of it. Do they have the damage to follow up after the Transcendence is dropped? But no, the sound barrier is going to come out by Partle, giving the assistance for this team of Upgaming, as Graviton will be placed on that payload to pull anybody near to completely vaporize them off this point, as they are just under 1 meter to go. Still sticking in the fight, though. They have the respawn advantage, trying to stall it as much as possible, as AGM is going to get the self-destruct to claim both supports. Earth Shatter to make sure that they can secure this as an insurance policy, but no, they will now have that. Doofus coming out, trying to get the Tracer as well, but gonna come up short, cannot regain their full strength, and Upgaming completes Route 66.
And you can see why Upgaming loves this GOATS composition right now. They have been able to charge sound barriers at the perfect time. Partle has been saving his team alongside Tiago with that Transcendence at the end. They've just been, the support ultimate timing, I believe, has been so much better on the side of Upgaming on this last map of Route 66, as Olay and Pizza Lover often use their ultimates at the same time, which meant that Upgaming would have major advantages going into the next team fight. And once again, we are back to Hearthstone.
Trying to see if Thrall's going to win. That Shaman needs to win. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm totally
I
a
feel
Paladin lover myself. But as you said, with the support ultimate usage, that's something that they've been doing a little better. I've liked that Upgaming has been able to stagger it out. Even the desk set that we saw multiple times, not only in the first map, but the second map as well, that they were overlapping too much. It wasn't benefiting them as a whole in these engages. And now they've been able to stagger them with the initial usage, able to gain a lot more value, especially now going into the defensive side. I think that's really going to give them the opportunity to try and bring this into the 5th map.
This is going to be a major test for LFT's GOATS composition, as we do see that classic counter GOATS. That is a very impressive spiral coming in from Tishazine on the Hammond. That's, wow, that's really cool. But anyways, TH7 on the Sombra will not only be able to get the scouting information, seeing what LFT is most likely going to run, but as a Sombra on Route 66, these major health packs give so much benefit to your defensive side, as Cardinal and Edgicus are feeling pretty pumped up. They're feeling pretty confident, it looks like.
Definitely, and as I was saying earlier too, that combination between the Sombra and the Doomfist can be very critical on a defensive side or even the attacking side, utilizing that early vision, the hack to follow up where they leave the vulnerable target for Edgicus on the Doomfist to completely annihilate as he's going to look for that opportunity. You do also see the Wrecking Ball on the high ground. They're waiting for them just to turn this corner to exploit their positioning.
And just look, at every corner they turn, Aegon and Muras are just trying to spam any area, looking for that Sombra from TH7. They're absolutely terrified of getting that first hack, which might be pretty much a first kill when Edgicus is on the other side.
Tiago also going to try and get some shots here, making sure to slow the payload as they're going to be under this gas station, needing to be careful as the pile driver starts the engage, starting to get some aggression in the back line. Now having the Doomfist in, almost get Olay surviving with a shred of health left with the assistance by their other support. Great job keeping them alive as the Discord's going to go onto the Wrecking Ball. They have to be careful wanting to force that to drop so that they do not have the damage advantage. And again, they don't really have any sort of shielding to prevent it as they're holding this high ground still.
Yes, right now, Edgicus is scouting out for Pizza Lover on the far side, but Olay, he's protecting himself, staying quite close to the walls as the pile dryer once again initiates this next defensive fight.
Nice armor protection, TH. Them, and they've been playing it very passively, still keeping the aggression on the payload though, but you know, LFT doing a great job trying to centralize themselves around it. Pick gonna come out by Edgicus with the assistance of TH7, getting another here onto Mariz. Olay almost gonna get the pick, but forcing out the Transcendence now. Edgicus taking out Pizza Lover in addition, getting those supports one after another, causing so much harass as the sound barrier is gonna come out, forcing them away here on the defensive side, continuing to do a great job. The payload didn't yet reach it, but they still have 2 minutes and 15 seconds, so they're truly not out of it just yet.
It has taken a while for TH7 to be able to charge this EMP. Oh no, not the sleep again.
Oh
Rich,
no.
every single time this happens, it makes me so sad. But right now, as we do watch this bullying, we do know that TH7, yes, has been taking a while to charge this EMP because Olay has been negating a lot of that impact of the hack every single time a hack comes in, which frankly has been a bit rare. Olay has been giving the Orb of Harmony.
It is surprising for how little it seems that they've been getting it, but again, there's been so much engagement by Edgicus with this Doomfist that it's allowing TH7 to really just flourish anyways. Like, it's not really mattering how they're engaging it because they have the advantage. EMP now onto the inner side, underneath the gas station as the minefield will be unleashed as well. Backline position coming in by Edgicus to get the assisted damage. Self-destruct,
wow.
3, and just literally shutting down this team of LFT, forcing the retreat.
I just can't help myself right here. All of these ultimates have been so impactful coming in from AGM. Both AGM and Aegon have been outstanding on these divas, not only with their defense matrices, but with their kills. Look at the ultimate economy, though, of LFT. They have almost 5 online, as to Upgaming only has close to 1. It's going to be very difficult for Upgaming to be able to come out of this fight on the higher end.
Just a minute to go as they do try to pressure forward using that sound barrier to their advantage by LFT. Grab on the high ground. Will they have the self-destruct to follow it up? But it doesn't matter. The damage is unbelievable on the side of LFT, completely cleaning house. Didn't even need the self-destruct. Wanted to just use that as a for sure policy to make sure that they can push forward. Wrecking Ball now the only one remaining, just under 4 meters to go as they are going to capture and maneuver into this with now 3 minutes going.
I'm a bit concerned, though, as they did have to use 4 ultimates and able to take this first point at the last fight. Right now, Upgaming has been just taking up so much space and time out of LFTOWL, and right now they don't have a lot of tools to work with. Upgaming, though, has been switching over now to that GOATS composition of their own, so their own ultimates are being reset. This could be an opportunity to see some very high-quality vanilla GOATS with Tishazine about to drop down on that Reinhardt and initiate a new fight.
And they have to be careful. They've been outmatched in the Goats v Goats as the pin's going to come out, but using it in a defensive manner, getting out of the fight. But now with the Earth Shatter to follow up here by Fasty, doing a great job getting it with the damage to follow up. Now the pin onto Tishazine, not going to survive through it. And again, I know that we saw them switch now back onto this. They reset the ult economy, LFT looking good. And this is, I feel like they're back in Hanamura all over again.
I'm not too happy about that last defensive push coming in from Upgaming. Right there, Fasty just took advantage of Tishazine's mispositioning after he missed that important charge. Shattered so many at the same time, and really I love Tishazine. I think that he's a phenomenal Reinhardt, but that there was a key mistake that might cost Upgaming this entire map.
Now again, going to have that positioning on that high ground, getting some early vision here, knowing exactly where they're going to maneuver from as they do still maintain the high ground with the tanks here. Transitioning on the outer left-hand side, using that corridor, having to tread very cautiously as they maneuver out, since they know they still have the soon-to-be self-destruct. Now going to finally get it. Fasty having the Earth Shatter as they do force out the Transcendence, but 3 will be knocked down, and again, waiting for that Transcendence to finally reach its end. Self-destruct going to gain 1, no longer having that support by Thiago in the back, doing so much damage. Pizza Lover getting the pick to secure it, finalizing it with now just under 5 meters to go. Will have a lot of damage overhead being rained down once again. Upgaming not being able to stabilize as they do have almost 3 ultimates going into this. But again, LFT just coordinated, functioning effectively, and communicating at every turn.
So during that first part of Route 66, Upgaming ate up so much of the time bank for LFTOWL, and they simply retook it, taking the momentum after that error coming in from Tishazine. Now, I am a bit concerned for Upgaming as they are about to be caught into a massive grab as right now. Here it comes. Oh, both!
Oh, on the payload as they're going to look to now flank from the back line, giving so much damage, but the Salberry is going to come out hoping to survive through it. It will be Upgaming now losing on this encounter. Will be 2 going down, 6 versus 4 in favor of LFT as they want to keep this momentum right now, and they are doing it in style.
Yes, Leviathan has been able to enable the rest of his team so well, not only with the armor, but that area of effect healing, thanks to the flail, has been hitting really impressive boops also on the Brigitte, which is allowing him to gain that rally so rapidly. Both Edgicus and Leviathan will have rally for this next team fight, and Tishazine is being very quiet, a very sneaky Reinhardt, very quiet. This is about to Earth Shatter in the back line.
And will manage to get the entire team as they do get some shielding though. Able to just miss one. Mariz doing a great job turning and giving the shielding for Olay to buy that opportunity to survive through it to get the Transcendence activated, as it will now be the team of Up also looking to drop theirs as well, trying to survive through it. Graviton coming out to sustain this prevented damage coming out by LFT. Still gonna get that advance onto them. They have the respawn advantage, but so much damage has been done. Switching to the Wrecking Ball and trying to buy a few more seconds for the rest of the team to hopefully regroup here, with AGN also gonna get T-Mec'd on the front. Just under a half meter. Salberry gonna come to buy time, but now the stalls are gonna come in, hoping to get out quickly with the Moira. Gonna use that orb to try and deal some damage and some healing here, but just completely dominated. 25-player killing streak coming in by Mariz, just dominating on this point once again, stagger after stagger, as honestly it's just going to be a matter of time, and there it is until they will complete round 2.
Yes, and Mariz was really the hero of that last push. We did see that sneaky Earth Shatter coming in from Tishazine, managing to get Ole out of the way. However, Ole did not fall due to the perfect awareness and bubble placement of his Zarya.
And again, now with this, before we just begin, there are some technical issues moving forward, so we will go to a quick break here just before we get this next round underway, and we'll be back in just a moment. Hello and welcome back, as we did have a slight little technical hiccup there, that we are going to now get back into this underway, with it going to be LFT on the defensive side having these 15 seconds as the defense is preparing, with Upgaming on the attack now. Again, Upgaming having 1 minute, whereas LFT has 1 minute and 15 seconds in their time bank. Very similar opportunity for both of these teams, and who will prevail, we're going to see here. And again, with Upgaming, a little bit of a different composition that they're going to use. They are potentially going to, nope, there it is. It's going to switch back, going back into the traditional goats, as again, they once again fade me out.
Yes, but it's just the value of that Zenyatta in the GOATS composition has been expressed so much in this match-up. Even though Thiago on the Ana would have been exciting and able to negate a lot of the value of the Transcendence coming in from Ole, Thiago has also been able to snipe out his enemies, been able to get very valuable Discord, so ultimately, pretty good decision coming on the side of Upgaming.
And they're being, again, very cautious around this corner. They're already wasting 30 seconds. So into this, they're going to have to try and find the opportunity to maybe get an early pick here, but nobody really taking that risk just yet. Going to most likely enter into the overtime shortly on this choke point just around the corner, as they still get a decent amount of damage. Mariz doing a great job generating that damage with the charge as they want to get this ultimate economy up, but still nobody near one. Oh, and there's the pick gonna come out on to Fasty. Leviathan as well, starting to dominate in favor of Upgaming. And there's the momentum they needed. That's the pick and the start of the dominoes.
A team kill in around 5 seconds. That's all it takes. You need to get rid of that Reinhardt as soon as possible, and then just the dominoes completely fell in favor of Upgaming, and now they have the ultimate charge to capitalize on this momentum shift. Now that we are in overtime in second rounds, they cannot leave this payload whatsoever. But Tiago having that transcendence will allow them to have more stability and input on this round.
And the longer they stray away from it, or the longer it continues, the faster it's going to go away. And the overtime as Transcendence is going to be forced. It will be that Earth Shatter in the back, managing to get one, but a beautiful understanding of that ultimate animation as Olay is going to unleash that Transcendence to try and survive, as they are just looking to force them off this payload. Trying to reach this next one, having just under 4 meters. It will be AGM getting the the self-destruct in the back, as they're still looking to persevere through this, but now numbers in favor of LFT, looking to try and pick them off. The bash in the back for the stun, as they want to try and isolate each independent member, as they are doing such a great job collapsing on this payload, getting the picks, overtime shredding away, and that will be Upgaming not reaching that first checkpoint.
This is a major opportunity for LFT. They only need to complete this first point to win 3-1 against Upgaming, in probably their most difficult matchup before playoffs.
And again, I still can't believe the visual recognition by Olay with that Transcendence.
Beautiful.
It was unreal to see him get that. As now, again, as you said, 1 minute and 15 seconds. This is the opportunity for LFT to claim it for a third match, or it's going to be Upgaming being able to just demonstrate their defensive ability, which we have seen before in these like really clutch moments to try and go into this fifth and final map here. And now it's going to be, you know, that same three. Ooh, actually on the defensive side, you will see potentially the Sombra play going into the Moira as well.
I'm a bit hesitant about this
there we go.
matchup. Okay, there we go. That makes me feel a bit better going in.
Your guess was as good as mine.
Yes, even though the Sombra's utility is extremely impactful, this is a high-risk situation for Upgaming. Everything has to be on the line, which is why I'm also surprised that Tiago will be on the Moira as opposed to his favored Zenyatta. Now, I anticipate that this is due to potentially higher sustain, a lot more healing provided for those heavy tanks of Reinhardt and Zarya especially, and the Coalescence is such a powerful ultimate. However, if Tiago is taken out early, if he is able to be taken out before getting that Coalescence even, this is going to go into Upgaming space.
And this is a risky play. They're going to play so far forward in this corner, and they've managed to see them with the leap coming out by the Winston, and now Fasty's going to switch back onto the Reinhardt. They need to be very careful how they play this, as they're going to reposition on the outer side, looking to flank from the opposite. And going to get the high ground too to boot. Trying to transition now, maybe going to get the early pick. So much damage being unloaded here, but it will be Olay actually going to go down. Now they have to force the retreat. They're buying a lot of time here by Upgaming.
Yes, this is, oh my gosh, this is a massive play coming in from Up. Just Tishazine being able to dismantle this entire attack. LFT was trying to rotate using the coverage, but right now with only 30 seconds left, it's going to be very difficult for them to come back. Tishazine has an Earthshatter due to this aggression, and Tiago is getting closer and closer to this Coalescence, which will be able to be charged more rapidly than Olay's Transcendence.
And the tactic is working in their favor, but they have to be ready. Once they drop to the low ground, they may look to use that Earthshatter to try and gain the advantage. They have the shield up, though. They have to wait for just the right moment, since there's only 10 seconds left to go. Getting stunned in the back. Can they force them away? But they're going to enter into overtime here very quickly if they do not get any opportunity. You see the entire team switched now, with Fasty getting the pick, and now going to look for the follow-up. Doesn't have an Earthshatter of their own, but the Coalescence is going to give them an opportunity with the Earthshatter to knock down so many. Pin into the wall, wanting the DMAC, as this is the opportunity for them to gain momentum. If they can stagger this out enough to not have the full 6, they should be able to gain enough mobility here. But again, as you said earlier, with the overtime starting so far back, the longer they're on this point, the quicker it is, the sooner they get off this payload. So it is going to be a very high risk, high reward, and they have to play so close to this payload.
And the only thing Upgaming needs to do is get LFTOWL off of the payload. They don't need a team kill, and so TH7's Graviton Search is going to have so much more value than what it typically may, as if it gets the entire team away from the payload, even for 2 seconds. That's the end of the round.
You see Mariz 2 hiding underneath. They're going to use it on the edge of the wall, seeing if they can try and give some intel here before they drop down just around the corner. Will they eat it? Oh! And I think it got eaten! It got eaten by D.Va! They were able to mitigate it. It didn't happen, as now the Transcendence with the self-destruct is going to be forced, though. Still looking to follow follow-up as the Graviton in return with the Transcendence going to be forced out by Olay, giving them an opportunity to maneuver forward, seeing if they can get to it. That golden box of victory. They want to get it here as they force them away. The bash and looking to stagger. Lucio on the high ground as they will force the sound barrier on the side of LFT to secure itself. Destruct try overhead with a second to go as they look to try and push them finally away from it. Not going to make it. And that is going to be LFT, regardless of the Eaton grab, turning it around, claiming the 4th map, making it 3-1, winning Route 66.
That self-destruct from Aegon is the play of the entire match. Getting rid of that Reinhardt, that was an outstanding game-winning play. Without that, we could have most likely been going in a match 5, but round of applause to these two teams. This is the best match of Overwatch I have seen in such a long time.
I cannot believe that. I honestly thought that they were going to lose out with the Graviton being eaten. They were at such a disadvantage losing that early because they had the position underneath and the sneaky tactic, but they didn't see that and automatically activated the defense matrix to get it. I don't even think it was intentional, but it worked. But the follow-up coming out with the rest of the team and just even taking a look here with the replay, just seeing how well it was on both sides, but really the defensive position with that last minute and a half doing such a great job. You saw the Genji play, you saw the variations. They really put it on both teams to take away from the GOAT's composition, adjusting it, and there was so much to it. But, you know, I don't want to talk about it any further because we need to let the devs take a moment and really just give us what their opinions were on this entire 4-map set.
Thanks for chatting, Katrina, man. That was an insane ending to this series. LFTOWL, congratulations. For anyone that didn't know, this was the battle for first place, and LFTOWL just swept that right up. But doesn't matter because I think both these teams are strong enough to make it to playoffs. But boy, we got to start with Hanamura. I think that was also very interesting. Both teams playing GOATs, but we didn't even get to see a point A capture. Paul, why was that the case?
It was partially very good discipline on both teams' defense, right? They would either you would saw upgaming on their defense. They did a very good job of using Tishuzin as bait, right? He would hide over on the side, pretend to be caught out, charge off to the side, either get a pin or get some nice damage, right? And then it would be a nice disengage and playing around that back corner, right? Both teams played around that back corner very well. The problem was for each team on their offensive push. When the enemy team goes into that back corner and you have control of the point, what they did was they just sat on point and said, yes, come to us. And that sort of gave the defending team to set up, or a lot of time to set up how they wanted, while just sort of toggling on and off the point to delay progress. Whereas if they had just gone onto point, healed up, and pushed into the defense, they could have removed that playmaking potential from the defense, and they just, for some reason, weren't comfortable doing that.
And Frida, what did you think?
Yeah, just a crazy map. I'm kind of blown away by the high-level play from both sides. A true playoff-level performance, I think. That map reminded me a lot of Hollywood, actually, where both teams in the thick of the fight, where chaos was breaking out, needed to land some crucial ultimates, and there was a key Earth Shatter that I remember from Tishuzin that when inside of a grav, knocked the enemy team down on their defense and was able to stabilize. But on the opposite side, when they finally get onto the point, well, I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but he gets caught out and dies there. And eventually, as Paul was explaining, the retake can slowly come on after you concede a little bit of point presence. The weird thing, Tishuzin's play, it looks like he's playing very aggressive, but I almost wonder if that's by design, because it looks like they're trying to bait him in some of these situations, putting him in a really ridiculous spot to go for these crazy plays and try to capitalize on it. And a few times in today's match, we saw Upgaming do exactly that, but there's other moments as well where I think Katrina said quite accurately that Tishuzin jumped off the top rope, like WWE style on the street space, to come down, right, and go for a scoop pin. This is the kind of stuff I try in my ranked games, and I don't know if I'd have the strength of will to try it in this situation, but doing that, putting himself so far out of position, set up for an Earth Shatter right on the point. And what a close series, really. Like, both maps and all the maps really played incredibly close and came down to those types of clutch interactions.
Well, and talking about Tishuzin aggression, it bites them more than once, right? And it bit them even on that last fight where Tishuzin, I don't know, it was a little hard to catch on the feed and we don't have replays, but Tishuzin charges while that Diva Bomb is overhead, So he sacrifices not only himself to try and get a pin on somebody, but also the Brigitte that was trying to hide behind his shield, right? Because her shield was down or broken or something, right? So 2 players down because Tishuzin was going for a pin while there was a Diva Bomb over him. It's just that little bit of over-aggression that cost them a lot of these clutch moments.
Well, that Hanamura map just speaks to the defensive capabilities of both these teams running Zen Goats. I'm saying it's more that their defense are stronger than their attack. And then we move on to Route 66, where we got an awesome surprise of quad DPS defense from LFTOWL. Hanzo from Agon, Leviathan on the Widowmaker, Mures on Pharah, Ole on Soldier, Pizza Lover Mercy, and Fasti on the Orisa. Paul, what did you think of that defense?
So this is a defense we've seen pulled out by some Korean Contenders teams, right? And I actually really like that we got to see it. I was hoping we would. This is a region that loves their DPS play. Not necessarily played how I would like it. What you want to kind of do when you have that quad DPS is set your Orisa up on the cart very far forward, use the Orisa as bait while you find a ton of value out of your DPS, and then ideally go back in and res. Fasti got caught out in a little bit of a weird position, and the follow-through from the defense of LFTOWL didn't come through as quickly as it needed to really ensure that they could hold for more than 1 or 2 pushes there. But it wasn't played too bad, and if LFTOWL can refine that, that's something they can definitely use in matches later.
I really like that defense, honestly, because it really is a way to exploit the map geometry. I call it like a firing squad, essentially. Like,
Yeah.
They're down at the range, pretty much. Like so many DPS that can take long angles to just fire the fish in the barrel of the Goats comp, as it were. But we saw kind of similar, unorthodox, well, non-meta, let's say, defenses from both teams, where we saw Up Gaming go for their tried and true Edgegus on the Doomfist, TH7 on the Sombra, and that defense as well looked to be quite strong at certain times. The only problem is what happens oftentimes in that matchup is that the way the ult economy works, eventually those tank ults get online and they're scary. So I was really happy to see Up Gaming play that defense so disciplined. You saw them waiting for what seemed to be a lifetime as the cart's coming down the lane, but what they're looking for is the most clean execution and have the positioning so that when they go in, they have the highest percentage chance to get a kill. They even fail it on the first engage, end up losing TH7 by Ole, who, of course, as we all know, is pretty insane, gets that frag, and end up just waiting the entire time till TH7 comes back and then dive on the cart again and eventually start to win it there. But a bit problematic once the Goats comp gets riding on point when they win the point, because, of course, the payload provides extra healing, and both teams look to kind of struggle in that mirror matchup and needed the ults in order to win the fights, which ended up, I think, being incredibly key in the overtime to win the map.
I think both teams spiced up their defense because the quad DPS is something we've never seen in South America, to my knowledge. And now Up Gaming brought their spicy defense of the Hammond dive with Edgegus' Doomfist and TH7's Sombra that we just spoke about. And Edgegus was known as a Doomfist god in Season 2, and TH7 known for his hit scan, getting stuck on Zarya, but now got to really finesse on that Sombra. So were you guys also a fan of Up Gaming's defense?
Oh yeah, I loved it. I was so glad to see Edgegus on that Doomfist. He's so good on that hero. One of the best Doomfists in this region, easily, right? And he was really clutch at finding that value. It was, I feel like if they had managed that full hold on their first defense, if they had just tweaked it a little bit, we easily could have seen a map 5.
Thing I was wondering is, when we look back to Hanamura as well, as we can see how strong they can be running a comp like that. When you only need like a tick and a half, essentially, I think trying to run the Goat's mirror on your attack is a bit of an unnecessary risk, because you don't need objective necessarily because you need so little of it. You actually could go to play like a Sombra on attack, or even a Genji, charge up for a Nanoblade, whatever, and just create that kind of win condition for yourself. Eventually they were confident, of course, in their Goats matchup because it's worked so well for them before. But I think concluding after today, I hope that Upgaming realizes that they will have to go into their bag of tricks in order to pull out some other strategies as well to make sure that they're giving themselves the best opportunity to win some of these matches, because they really got tested today and put up against the limit against a really high level team. You know, they fell a little bit short. So they're going to want to look to improve that, because they're on a pretty good trajectory, still both playoff teams, but I think they're going to feel like that Hanamura game was in their grips.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
when it comes out to what they rolled out on, right? They rolled out with that Moira first. It found no value, and then they had to basically reset, right? They were fighting a team fight behind the entire series. They didn't get any of their ults until almost 3 minutes of the time was gone, right? And I feel like Thiago showed us such a beautiful game on Zen. You know, we talk about Olay as one of the best Zens in the region, and Thiago was giving him a run for his money all day long, right? So you take him off that hero that gives the support playmaking potential, and it's just such a it's a shackle on your team, really. And I feel like they shouldn't have necessarily taken that risk.
Well, you guys have highlighted some fantastic players, but I'm going to make you pick one. Only one. Your MVP of the match, Paul. We'll start with you.
I gotta give it to Olay, right?
Okay.
Every transcendence he had found value. He was getting picks constantly. I'd love to see his damage numbers, right?
Yeah.
Always discording the correct target, never caught out of position, except for that one weird rotation they had on Route 66. But, I mean, if your Zen gets caught out one time from
That's
4
okay.
maps, they're doing something right, you know? Especially when the enemy team is probably gunning for your Zen. So, I can't give it to anyone else but Olay.
I think Olay's an easy shout. The one that I'm going to go towards for maybe a very solid runner-up is going to be Fasty, who I think really showed that he can hold his own under some severe and wacky pressure that Tsujin was putting. He's putting out the dinner bell, basically. A lot of these times, Tsujin's like, come on, Fasty, make a mistake. I'm playing outrageous. And Fasty didn't seem to flinch in a lot of these fights. A few block shatters, a few good timed shatters with his Brigitte player in order to land those. Fasty played the more stable Reinhardt throughout the entire series, and that ended up working out for them. I don't know if we're going to continue to see the more wacky Tsujin Rein moving forward, but I think that experiment has kind of proven how risky it can be to play that way. I mean, if you want to play that way, guys, just play with the dive with this Doombra combination, because you're good at that too. So you want to create some chaos, maybe look to that instead. Fasty really improved from week to week, because we saw much more struggle against LFO last week, and I think we may have expected Upgaming to maybe even be a bigger opponent for them, and they didn't really flinch with a lot of really close games and tight ult fights that required some high-level playmaking.
Yeah, I think something else important to say about Fasty is before this season, he wasn't a main tank player, right? He played that diva. He was one of the best divas in this region, and now he's suddenly forced onto a role, and he's learned it so quick. 3 weeks, and he looks like one of the better main tanks in this group, right? So LFTOWL is just so strong in every single department.
Well, you guys are just all over this. Great players from either team. Both teams have done so great, not only in week 2, but LFTOWL continuing that upwards momentum, now securing their first place spot. Upgaming receiving their first map loss by LFTOWL. So congratulations to LFTOWL with that 3-1 win. But you're going to be looking forward to some more Overwatch. On Thursday, we will be back with Group B, 1 p.m. PST. You'll see Isras versus Black Dragons, LFORG versus Upgaming, and Fury versus LFTOWL. So don't forget, Thursday, 1 p.m. PST. We're going to see you back on this channel, Broadcast.gg. Make sure you hit that follow button and follow us on Twitter, Broadcast.gg, for all the updates and sick clips of the Overwatch stuff you got to see today. I'm Lemon Kiwi, that was Paul, and that was Frito. Shout out to our producer Peggy and our casters Rich Rad and Katrina. This was Overwatch Contenders South America Week 3, the halfway point. We're going to see you guys on Thursday for Week 4.